it. 3, 2, 1.
Oh, this hand. No, the headphones are getting in the way. I don't remember this at all. Okay, here we go again.
Oh shit. Here we go again.
This is fine. Dude, how do you do the horse thing? I don't get it. I literally do not get it. Like, I genuinely don't understand. Alright, I'm done. Oh my god! That was awesome!
You did it! Okay, thank you. It was calm for like a brief second. Right. It was really brief second. And you got the dragon scratch. Okay, thank you so much.
What do you get when you jingle Santa's balls?
Jingle balls, obviously.
A white Christmas.
I don't get it.
Okay.
Are you implying that Santa's balls are white?
No, don't worry about it. Don't worry about it.
What if he tans nude at the beach? How do you know? Maybe he's black from the waist down. How do you know what color Santa's balls are?
Oh my god. Okay, don't worry about it. Let's go play our London only match.
You should never tell me a dirty joke. I don't like, it's 2023. We should imply what color Santa's balls are.
Oh, yeah,
Okay.
that's what we were, yeah.
Is that not the joke? I'm
might get that
21
one.
years old. I want to get the joke. Can you tell me the joke, please?
What's a chess player's favorite TV show?
What?
Pawn Stars. I didn't write these, okay?
Oh god. Oh god.
How do you make a chessboard laugh? Check.
How?
Tell it a nightmare joke. Why did the chess player go to jail? It's really bad. It's really, really bad, okay?
Yeah, that's why I gave up on guessing it.
Because they can't control their pawn addiction.
It does not even make sense. How did the chess player propose
To their
Hello, everyone, and welcome to day 2 of the Botez Chess Camp. My name's Joe. I'm joined once again by none other than Grandmaster Ben Feingold. Ben, welcome back. I hope you slept well because we've got another doozy of a game ahead of us. We've got Nemo with the white pieces versus Linda Diaz.
I slept like a grandmaster, and my wife slept with a grandmaster, so it was all good.
Sounds like a win-win. Well, we just saw the players at the board shaking hands, so they're about ready to get started. So let's dive right in and look at the playing hall again. It might be blacked out for a second, but we'll get it back on.
Yeah, today Nemo has white against Linda Diaz. And yeah, the sun's pretty much on the board. Seems like the players had some issue with starting the clock.
Well, they definitely have that spotlight on them, so I can't wait to see the games. Yesterday, round 1, Nemo had a spectacular game. Both players over 97%. Nemo getting a draw with the black pieces against woman grandmaster Jennifer Yu, the top seed of the tournament. So fantastic results for Nemo, getting the job done, holding a draw, down a pawn for a long time in a rook and pawn endgame. That was over 90 moves and over 5 hours. So I don't know if today's game is going to be as long or even longer, but what do you predict, Ben?
Prediction, pain. Yeah, I think Nemo's going to get a big attack in the middle game and wrap it up in 30 moves.
Wow, that's the prediction from our expert. So,
Hey, Chuck, somebody in my chat said hi to me. Amazing.
that's incredible. That not every day that happens.
That's true.
Oh, and we
So,
see,
for those of you on my stream who are confused, which, I mean, you guys are always confused, but we're restreaming a Nemo stream to my stream. So if you watch Nemo's stream or my stream, you'll get the same thing. Although maybe there'll be different ads.
that's a good point.
The arbiter is trying to start the clock, but trying is the first step to failure.
That is true. More words of wisdom. And yeah, that is none other than Papa Botez, and we have another shaking
Looks
hands.
like Cramling just won her game, it looks like.
Wow, so the first 2 games of the day have already finished, and we've got some moves coming in. So E4 and a Karo Khan from Linda.
Khan. Yeah, you shouldn't play Khan against a Canadian because William Shatner's from Canada. So a very dangerous opening.
I never thought of it that way, but we see an advance.
What's that? Yeah.
E5 from Nemo. I like to play F3 against the Karo, a fantasy variation, but
Yeah, never play F3.
that's probably not so good in classical, perhaps. But
If you can't see the board, then open your eyes.
hey,
There's 2 boards, one for each of you.
yeah, and there's also an events page on chess.com, and you can actually see all the games there if you'd like. And you can even resize the board yourself. But for this stream, we're trying our best to make sure that the players can both be fairly visible. I can try adjusting.
A few months ago, I made a video on this opening. It's the Botvinnik Karl's variation of the Karo Khan. So black plays C5 on move 3 instead of bishop F5, which is the main move.
And
Black can play E6 or knight C6. Seems like the GMs prefer to play E6, which is what Linda played.
So you have a YouTube video with the Karo. I mean, I'm sure you've taught pretty much every opening in your videos, and I know you've been making chessable courses, right?
Yep, and one of my chessable courses is coming out next month on the Nimzo Indian.
And that's very exciting. People can just find that on Chessable. maybe you have some commands in your chat.
It's possible. Yeah, there's a chessable command. Yeah.
All right, so we have bishop to e3, and that just defends the c5 pawn. So
This is the reverse of yesterday when Nemo sacrificed her pawn on c5 and was trying to win it back. And now Linda sacrificed her pawn on c5 and is trying to win it back. Turnabout's fair play.
knight bd7 from Linda, still attacking this pawn. Would you ever consider a move like b4, or is that too much?
b4 is a very reasonable move to consider, although since the b4 pawn's not protected, black can play moves like b6 and a5 and destroy the position over there. So probably wouldn't play that. Also, in this particular position, the e5 pawn is also under attack. That might be more important.
That's a really good point. This knight bd7, I guess I shouldn't be specifying knight from b because there's no knight on f6. But yeah, knight develops with a fork. So Linda's going to get one of these pawns back. Also, welcome back, everyone in the chat. Let us know if you were watching yesterday. I see some new usernames in the chat as well. Shout out to Tors, Speed Chess, Chess Arbitress, who is Judith Stare, who is helping out on the DGT boards, not in person but remotely. I believe she's in Europe right now, tuning in, and Jenny as well.
People from all over the world watching. And also the sun is watching. So all over the universe.
Yeah, the sun shining its light on this position. Oh, we just lost the cams.
The truth hurts.
Yeah. Oh, and we're back. Welcome back. The sun is out. The lights seem to be flickering. All right, so we'll have to keep an eye on
As long
that.
as they can see us, that's all that matters.
Some could argue that. That is a point that could be made.
Joe and Ben, the eye candy of the stream.
That's what they brought us on for.
Mm-hmm.
Well, right now, the accuracy score of the game, we were mentioning it yesterday, being very impressed at 97% for each player. Right now, it's showing a perfect 100%, so I don't know if it gets any better than this.
Playing even better.
Yeah. Of course, we are early on in the game, but Nemo's spending some time deciding what she wants to do after this knight is going to take one of these two pawns. She has to decide which pawn. You mentioned the e5 pawn might be more important. I know you said maybe not considering b4, but what about f4?
F4 is possible. Typically, white wants to get an initiative because black is going to take a long time to castle. So two moves that make the most sense here are knight f3, developing and defending the pawn, and bishop b5, which pins the knight, so that white still keeps the extra pawn and hopes to hang on to it.
Yeah, those are definitely both sensible moves. The computer's actually preferring bishop b5 slightly as the top choice. That actually saves both pawns, pinning it. And I'm assuming black can play a move like a6, putting a question to the bishop. Now, with the pawn on c5, you could actually drop the bishop back to a4 without worrying about something like b5 because you have en passant. But you could also just take the knight, giving up the bishop pair, which I guess probably isn't as favorable. So after bishop b5, is a6 a move that we're worried about, or will we just go back to a4?
I'm not worried about a6, no. I'm not really worried about anything. I'm just going to develop my pieces quickly. And if black gets the pawn back, then black gets the pawn back. But at least I want to have a lead in development.
That makes a lot of sense. We don't necessarily have to hold on to the material. And that's kind of what Jennifer did in the last game. Not trying to hold on to pieces, but rather focusing on development. So Nemo, yeah, this is a long think here on move 5. So you guess, or I guess it's out of her opening prep here in the Caro.
Yeah, I think probably Linda knows this position and Nemo probably doesn't, which happens a lot in this variation. It's an unusual variation that you don't see a lot at the top level for black playing the move c5.
And bishop b5 played from Nemo. Also hello to Justin in the chat. Good to see you. Thanks for tuning in again.
And she did play bishop b5. Good, good.
She's found her move, and some people perhaps considering queen a5 check to be a fork, but white will be forced to play knight c3, developing a piece, but also defending the bishop.
It doesn't seem that Linda's super familiar with bishop b5, so maybe the players are on their own now. Although she did play knight e7 relatively quickly, so maybe she does know the position.
Yeah, maybe she spent a couple extra seconds because it took Nemo a while. Camera has turned off again, so I'm gonna see if we can make sure this doesn't keep happening. It looks like it's not staying on for too. It's blinking twice. Camera blink twice if you need help. Fly asking if this was advanced French. This was a Caro Con.
But it does look like an advanced French.
Where can you see the moves, Big Screen Watcher? Well, we're pretty early on. I can show you the start of this game, but there's also a camp command, I believe, in the Nemo chat that can take you to, well, here, let me find the link from my channel. There's an events page on chess.com. But let me just show everyone here in the chat the start of this game. Nemo playing with e4, c6 from Linda, d4, and now the Caro Con d5. Not taking, but pushing. Linda plays c5, and now we have the capture. And now Linda trying to recapture this pawn. Nemo holding on to it. Knight to d7, and Nemo pins the knight, and now knight e7. So does this knight want to go to, I guess there's a lot of options. You can go to g6, f5, or maybe even c6. Do you have a hunch where it might end up going?
Yeah, typically in this line, black plays knight f5. And sometimes, and the idea is just to take the bishop and then win the c-pawn. And sometimes, in fact, this might be a known variation. White plays c3 and bishop d4. And black just takes on d4 and is a pawn down, but has the two bishops and tries to break up the pawn structure on the queen side. So that's one way to play is, you know, black wants to take the bishop and then win the c5 pawn.
Yeah, so
It's a very interesting game. It's usually is good for the better prepared player because these lines are pretty tricky, and one side or the other can get in trouble if they play inaccurately.
and speaking of accuracy, Linda's last move has brought her down from her perfect 100 to 99.8.
Oh, terrible.
So,
I mean, after that, Kramnik stopped watching the game, knowing there was no funny business.
you can sleep easy tonight
Mhm.
after knight e7. I don't know if the computer was suggesting perhaps a better move here. It does like a6, I guess, slightly better than knight e7. But after bishop a4, then it likes knight e7. But Linda can still play a6 later on.
Yeah, I'm pretty sure Linda still knows the position after knight e7, still in her prep. But she played it like in less than 40 seconds.
Yeah, and
And we saw yesterday she wasn't playing quickly at all.
Yeah, Linda was in severe time pressure yesterday against Alexander Botez. Here, Linda, with the black pieces again, by the way, she's actually gained time on her clock. She has over an hour and a half that she started with. So it's interesting to see like how she's going to bounce back after yesterday's game. And to be completely fair to Linda, I think that she played fairly well considering the time pressure she was in, as well as considering the fact that she probably has the least recent experience competing in chess tournaments compared to the rest of her competitors. And she also actually had an even position at one point in the endgame that she could have held a draw after Botez, I think, took a pawn on the queen side with her rook, but Linda unfortunately blundered. I think it was the G pawn maybe pushing with check. But yeah, we'll see how she bounces back in this game. And meanwhile, Nemo, after coming off a draw against the top seed, Jennifer Yu, she's going to look to try to get her first win of the tournament against one of the lower seeds.
Somebody in my chat is suggesting bishop g5. So give me a second while I ban them from the chat.
Moving.
Yeah, White already moved her bishop to defend the c pawn. She's not going to move it to a worse square and undefend the c pawn.
Well, to be fair to Trying to Learn, who perhaps is trying to learn, we did pin this first knight as it was creating some threats with our bishop here. And this knight is perhaps about to hop in and make some threats of its own. So pinning this knight also makes some sense. But as you pointed out, Ben, our bishop already has a purpose and a reason to be on e3. So unfortunately, the bishop can't be in two places at the same time. It has to stick to the first goal, I guess, in mind. Can't be deterred by knight f5, I guess, too easily. So I know you mentioned that black would love to try to take this bishop. So is there anything that you can do to deter knight f5, or how would you manage to live with the knight there?
Yay, we got a raid.
Shout out to Anna Cramling. Thank
Go
you so
Anna.
much. And Anna also got her first win of the tournament, right?
Yeah, that's right. She won her game pretty convincingly, I'd say.
Well done. So thank you, Anna, for the raid. I know Pia was doing a fantastic job on commentary as well, as always. And you guys are tuning in right at the start of Nemo's second round versus Linda Diaz. So definitely stay tuned, see how this Caro-Kann shakes up, and expect to see some fireworks coming soon. Ben actually predicted this game won't even last 30 moves. So
I predicted it would last exactly 30 moves.
Exactly 30 moves. So
Yep.
I don't know.
If it lasts 29 or 31, I'm wrong.
Maybe someone in the chat could put their own maybe we could put a prediction in chat for the over-under on 30. All right, and Nemo's
She
played
developed a piece. Hooray. Yeah, and I'm actually very interested to see what Nemo's going to do against knight f5. Is she going to just castle and allow her bishop to be captured, which I doubt, or will she play bishop d4 or queen d2? Interesting position. I don't know what she'll do against knight f5. Could also play bishop g5 as recommended by the chat.
Anna crushed Jules. Well, Jules had
Yeah.
a win in the first round against Andrea, so that was really good for Jules. And yeah, Anna definitely higher seeded player. So, and Anna played really well against Dina actually. I know Dina was definitely the favorite going into that matchup, and Anna I think proved a lot of people wrong with her play, actually winning a piece and completely winning. And yeah, Ben and I yesterday were saying that game had a result that neither player was happy.
Yeah.
So Anna now can walk away happy.
10 glorious months.
Thank you, Green Tea, for the sub.
It seems like the sun is moving away from Nemo's position and going into Linda's position.
And the camera continues to give us a hard time here.
Truth hurts. She did play knight f5.
So knight f5, and you mentioned bishop d4, queen d2. I was thinking queen d3 is another move as well.
Also possible. And yeah, here the engine is suggesting b4 to hold on to the pawn on c5 since the bishop on e3 can't be saved anyway.
Yeah, b4, this was a move I was considering very early on after knight d7. So maybe now is the time to play it. Knight takes e3 is definitely a bit of a nuisance, double isolating our e-pawns.
Well, if Linda does end up losing the game, she does have a good excuse. The sun's in her eyes. That's not fair. Nemo has no sun in her eyes.
Yeah, Linda might have to play with sunglasses, which I think I might have seen Andrea doing that earlier. We had a question. Do these guys look at the chat at all? The answer is sometimes. So
The answer is fries.
Ah, yes.
Do they mean the players or do they mean us? Because we're responding to the chat.
Sorry, I just muted the sound from the camera, I guess.
Oh.
Forgot about that one.
They mean us. We read the chat all the time. Most of the chat isn't worth reading, but you know, you got to kill 5 hours. So
The players cannot look at the chat. That would be frowned upon at a minimum. Shout out
and
to
let me
CLC.
tell you something. This is a serious point I want to make. Very important. The players are super interested in what you guys are chatting right now. So it just kills them inside that they can't read the chat. And so on.
If I had to guess what you were gonna say, I was gonna think something along the lines that the players would want to know what moves the chat is suggesting, so
they could not
don't
play them.
Play it exactly. You could have gone a lot of ways with that. So every time Ben starts a sentence, you gotta buckle up because you never know where it's gonna go. Kind of like me playing a chess game. All right, we see some move suggestions now. Northern Web saying King E2. The Bon Cloud.
That must be my chat. Suggested King E2.
You know them so well.
Yep. So there's 2 games going on right now. This event has staggered rounds where the round is played during the day. They play 2 games in the morning and 2 games in the evening, afternoon, evening. The first 2 games ended with Anna Kramling beating Julia Schulman and Dina Belenkaya beating Andrea Botez. 2 games that are going on now are the game that you're watching, and the other game is Jennifer Yu has white against Alex Botez. This is round 2. Round 1 was yesterday, and I think you said yesterday, Joe, Sunday is a rest day.
That is right. July 28th. All the players are taking a day off. I think they probably have some other activities planned. Maybe a Blitz tournament as a side event, perhaps. Who knows? Definitely filming some more content. But it is nice for the players to have a day off. Breaking up the tournament so they don't have to play 7 consecutive rounds. I see a question, isn't Nemo WGM? The answer is yes, but she's also an FM. So right now, the events page takes the title from, I think, the player's FIDE profile, and I guess it chooses one or the other somehow. And some players actually have a preference on their player profile. I think they can custom choose it. So Nemo's chess.com account might say WGM as her.
Yeah, most people don't have 2 titles. That's an unusual situation.
So when you get GM title, you lose your IM title?
That's right, it's gone.
I thought titles were for life. I thought you would have every title that you've collected.
Well, that would be, that's like when Kamala wins the election. I mean, nobody's going to call her vice president anymore when she's president.
We have B4, top move from Nemo.
Go Nemo.
And now she gets up. So I know Linda has barely used any time at all from her clock. So it's interesting to see if this was accounted for in her prep.
I think I saw Gerber walk by.
Yeah, Gerber's in the bright orange. I think if anything goes wrong with the cameras, I'll yell at him to fix it for us.
So Nemo's decided she's going to maintain the pawn at the cost of her pawn structure and giving black the 2 bishops. Although black's position, albeit solid, is still a little bit passive after she plays knight takes e3, since the knight on f5 is pretty good. So it's possible black will just go after attacking the white pawns immediately and play something like a5, hitting the base of the pawn instead of knight takes e3. Play knight takes e3 later. Both moves are fine.
And those are the top 2 moves. And for some reason, the accuracy score actually has gone back up to 100%. So Linda's still flawless. Nemo, however, at 99.7.
Probably what chess.com thinks is there was a move that wasn't theory and we've transposed back into theory. So now black's playing perfectly because she's playing theory. Although that wouldn't make any sense because white just played b4. So that would make sense. But yeah, I mean, that's just a guide for players like us to show that the players are playing well or not very well. And it's not something that's is written in stone. Although Kramnik would have you believe that that's all that matters, or these numbers that don't matter.
I heard you say players like us, Ben. Do you mind specifying who us is?
Yeah, like a typical club player like me and you.
Oh,
not
okay.
not the top, 20, 30 players in the world.
Got it.
Yeah. Although for some reason Kramnik is very enthusiastic about those numbers.
Is everyone else blinking? It's getting dark. Or maybe there's like a cloud that's passing over the sun. Yeah, I'm trying to see Spotify. What's up, Ranger? Good to see you. Yeah.
Fracking is bad, okay? Good question, though. Yeah, I agree with trying to learn that White should get the open F file after the trade on E3 and then suddenly play it Rook takes F7, winning the game. I was thinking that too.
And that's something that Linda's going to have to think about if she takes this knight, or this bishop with her knight, because even though the pawn structure looks bad, doubled e-pawns, castling is definitely on the agenda for Nemo, putting the rook on the F file, and with the F pawn gone, not only can we not play F3 anymore, but our rook has been opened up. So this is exactly what we see. The computer did like that A5 suggestion that you had, but this was still a good move as well. And after a recapture, Nemo's ready to put that rook on the F file.
Yeah, the engine prefers White's position slightly, and it just thinks that White's going to be a pawn up for a long time, and White has an unusual pawn structure, with Black also having the two bishops. So Black has compensation for the pawn.
Someone asked in chat if you can explain coefficients and its effect on ELO.
I could explain, but it would be beyond the scope of the understanding of the chat. So I'd just be talking to myself. So.
Yeah, and I'm not qualified to answer. Sorry. I am maybe qualified to ask Ben more positional questions. After knight takes on e3, here with Linda's turn, obviously down a pawn, going to try and win that material back somehow. A5 was a move suggested earlier, and I believe it's still a good move now. So if A5 is played, is there any problem with playing something like C3?
I think White will definitely play C3 if Black plays A5, because A3 is not possible because of the pin on the A file. So if A5 is played, I think Nemo will play C3 pretty quickly.
And I feel like the structure reminds me of this trap that I used to play long time ago out of a Benoni structure. So if you could imagine this pawn on e5 wasn't there, you have this a5 move, and as you said, a3 doesn't work because your rook gets pinned after the capture on b4. So if you play something like c3, Black still takes b4. If White takes back, then the queen can come out to f6, winning the rook on a1. And then as I got stronger, nobody would blunder that, and so then I learned the hard way that the Benoni actually was not my favorite opening.
That's right, CL Smith. That's actually a thing in a lot of openings. Moving your queen to f3 or f6 and attacking the rook in the corner. Looks like the sun's going away. Let's see what Elton John says about that.
Have you seen Elton John perform live?
I have. In Las Vegas, he was performing with Tina Turner, although separately.
I feel like
Same night.
Elton, probably one of the musicians that I'm gonna really regret not having seen live.
Frankly, terrible. Yeah, and he has a house in Atlanta, so we hang out sometimes, but not too often.
Is it true that Benny and the Jets is named after you?
It is true, but I'm not supposed to say.
Okay.
I signed something that says I can't talk about it.
Yeah, I knew I shouldn't have asked on stream, but I just couldn't resist.
Yeah.
We get a question. What do you sing at karaoke? I think you might have. Someone asked me that yesterday, right? Did we get your answer?
I don't go to karaoke very often. That's more of a Karen thing.
Okay.
When I do go, I sing everything. Whatever, you know, I'm in the mood to sing.
So I guess you could call it karaoke.
Exactly. Yeah. Well, definitely, Linda's out of her prep, which I think she was 2 or 3 moves ago. And Nemo is feigning confidence, so that's good. Looking like everything's under control. I'm up a pawn. Black is a bit passive.
She's got another green tea with her. And yeah, Linda's up on time. She's been playing fairly quickly here in the opening, and maybe she learned from yesterday her time management could use a little bit more speed.
Yeah, she got into time trouble very quickly in the first game.
Time management's definitely a tricky skill to get down. I'm sure a lot of players still struggle, you know, regardless of how much experience you have. There's a lot of top level players that I feel like are well known for always being in time pressure. I feel like a lot of times people like to say, like, Ray Robson, for example, always gets in time pressure, which is funny when you think about like how fast these players can be, because Ray is a beast in bullet and I mean hyper bullet as well even. So Nemo also very strong at bullet and speed chess. But yesterday, I think she was really good with her time management. She was up on the clock for the vast majority of the game. So it's good to see, regardless of the time control, these players are able to manage their time. And so that's something that I think Linda, we're seeing she's perhaps keeping this more in the back of her mind this second round.
And she did play a6.
A6 as opposed to A5. We were expecting a C3 response to that move. So maybe Linda doesn't want to leave the bishop on B5, because if you play A5, the bishop can stay there for a very long time.
That's right.
So deciding to pose a question to the bishop first and seeing if Nemo wants to take the knight or go back to A4, both of which probably pretty good.
Yeah, if she does capture on D7, then we transpose back into the Jeffrey Osborne variation.
I've never heard of that.
Exactly. That joke was so complicated, even I didn't get it.
Buddy of the Midwest, thanks for the sub. Appreciate that.
Somebody in my chat should get it because I make jokes like that a lot.
Oh, Buddy liked my karaoke joke, but did you get Ben's Jeffrey Osborne joke?
Oh, maybe it's George Benson. I don't know. Oh, give me the night. Tonight. It's either George Benson or Jeffrey Osborne. It's 45 years ago. I don't know. Looks like the sun's almost completely gone. Still in her eyes a little bit. Yay, 27 cents. My biggest donation of the stream.
Huge. Linda, maybe waiting for the sun to go away before she makes her move. I think yesterday the sun situation was definitely a bit worse. I think it was a lot brighter. Oh.
Yeah, in this position, it's almost the same. Bishop a4 and bishop takes d7 as far as which move is better. And they're just different. They'll lead to a different position. Does white want to give up the two bishops for the two knights and keep the pawn? And also gain time because after bishop takes and black recaptures, it's white's move. But after bishop a4, it's black's move. So yeah. It's either move is fine. The problem I think with bishop d3, which also looks reasonable, is we can't play queen d4 anymore. So something like queen c7 would probably win our e-pawn.
Yeah, I think Nemo's doing a mental coin flip right now between a4 and taking the knight. I feel like I am a bishop a4 kind of player in this position because I feel that I could take the knight later if I really wanted to. And I like to maintain this sort of tension and keeping the bishop on a little bit longer. And clearly a move a6, putting a question to the bishop's annoying, right? Because the knight doesn't want to be pinned forever. So if I take the knight, it's very obvious black will just simply recapture, probably developing their bishop. So if you go to a4, is there anything that I have to seriously consider? Like, I don't think... I mean, I don't know. b5, do you just play en passant there?
No, b5 is strategically not good because it gives white a pass c-pawn on c5. So white would just play bishop b3, and black's going to be down a pawn for a long time, and pawn on c5 is strong.
So declining en passant, that takes a lot of guts.
Maybe. Also, that's what Alex did yesterday.
Well, maybe she didn't know about it.
That's possible.
Nemo keeps either sneezing or coughing, but I know she did say that she's feeling sick. So, and I know she showed after the games yesterday, she had, I think, 2 inhalers with her. So she's powering through whatever she's feeling.
Yeah, she actually called her coach before the game and asked what to do about her illness. And he gave the obvious response, 2 inhalers, what else? So that actually worked out well for her. Yeah, it's a long think because it leads to different kind of positions. And
there
she
we
played
have it.
bishop a4, recommended by you.
Nemo has a. Oh, there she goes. She's also not wearing any shoes this round again, so she's doubling down on being shoeless. I mean,
It looks like something's afoot. That's for sure.
It worked out for her against Jennifer. I don't know. I guess, like, I don't know if you've ever played a FIDE tournament without shoes on, Ben. Maybe Nemo's really taking full advantage of this situation.
Yeah, I haven't, but one of the advantages is if she gets really sick, since she doesn't have shoes on, she can call a tow truck. So that's good.
It might be cheaper than an ambulance.
Yep.
Alexandra was wearing those red slippers, and it ended up working out for her against Linda.
Yeah, that's right. Yesterday. Yeah.
So we'll have to see if it keeps working for both players. I'm actually not sure if Alexandra is wearing this. I haven't seen her yet in camera. Linda's put her jacket on, so is that a tell?
Yeah, she's cold. It is cold in Malibu, I hear. Except for one thing. They probably have good air conditioning.
Yeah. It's a nice sunny day out. Not too cloudy, so it can be pretty hot depending on what you're used to. But yeah, I think Dina in the first round was saying something about the air. Like it was too cold inside. So yeah, Linda's brought her jacket with her. I heard there's some players that when they take their jacket off, that's how you know the game's close to the end. So Linda is maybe preparing for that moment. You have to have a jacket on before you can take it off.
No, actually, neither queen is gone. They're both on their starting squares. The camera doesn't like us today.
Yeah. I reached out to the people that could potentially help us. And it looks like we're kind of on our own. What's up, Dr. J-Law? Big fan. Do you know Julian Landau, perchance?
That name's very familiar.
Yeah, he's a FIDE master. And a double doctor, MD, PhD, originally from LA.
So what you're saying is he's an underachiever.
Yeah, he hasn't quite mastered everything, but one thing that he has achieved is he's added a new member to his family. He's a new father.
Oh, that's good.
Yeah. So I'm sure Julian's probably adopted me at some point, so I might consider that as a sibling. I know Ben mentioned, I think you have, was it 4 kids?
I have 2 kids and 2 stepkids.
And
so sort of like 4 kids.
Did you beat them 10 times in a row in chess to adopt them?
No.
Oh.
Haven't adopted them. They're too good at chess. They might adopt me.
So you could be each other's kids.
Mm-hmm. My dogs are going to town. Well, Nemo seems pretty happy with her position. I think my dogs like Nemo's position also.
Since Nemo's not wearing any shoes, I guess your dogs could meet her dogs.
Exactly.
Yeah, and actually, Linda, if she keeps this up, she's going to be down on time for the first time. Both players still over an hour. This is move 10. So a quarter of the way till they get an extra 30 minutes. But we're pretty far from that, and Ben has predicted that we won't even get to that point. Still thinks perhaps, I mean, are we getting close to the, you said middle game fireworks?
Middle game fireworks will happen shortly.
And here we go, move. So Linda looks like she's trying to get her dark square bishop out, has played g6.
Mm-hmm.
The computer gives this a question mark. So first, I guess, mistake that you can call it from Linda after that time think. I guess the bishop could have gone to e7, but Linda likes the bishop on the long diagonal. I can't really say that I blame her. It's hitting that e pawn, which is definitely a target, and also lines up nicely with the rook in the corner.
I mean, g6 looks fine to me. The engine doesn't like it. It wants for white to play super aggressively with c4, attacking d5, and I guess try to get the white knight to e4 quickly.
Yeah, c4. I heard that's an explosive move.
That's right.
Julian asking if I'm going to be there in person. I was there earlier today. I've been there, I guess, pretty much every day since they started setting up, because the DGT boards there are actually my friends that I borrowed from Miracosta College down near Oceanside. So shout out to them. I met them through the Collegiate Chess League, which is what I run. That's my full-time job at chess.com. I don't know if you knew that, Ben, or have heard of it.
I know nothing, but I have heard of it. Yeah.
Nice. But yeah, the guy that has them, I guess it might technically be the schools, but the club leader there that I'm in touch with, his name's actually David Grishuk, but I don't think he's related to Sasha.
Mm-hmm. But is he related to Randall Grishuk?
That I'm less sure of. But I'm pretty sure he's not related to Sasha. But yeah, he goes by Chuck.
Mm-hmm. That makes sense. Yeah, the engine really likes white's position after c4. Trying to get it black before black gets to castle.
I feel like c4 is not something that I would do unless I could maybe have a concrete follow-up, because black could take on c4 and I'm not sure what white follows up with. I think
probably white would play knight a3 and try to take with the knight on c4, and then we're defending the pawn on e5, and then knight can try to go to d6.
Flex Koala says they're also MD PhD, trying to be a master. So yeah, Dr. J-Law, he used to stream, and he has some rumors out there that he might return one day. So maybe worth a follow. Maybe. But yeah, Fly asking the question that I want to know. Probably what I would do here, Ben, is just castle kingside. But I guess it's slow.
Yeah, black wants to play bishop g7, castle, queen c7, and win the pawn on e5. So, you know, if white doesn't do anything in the next 3 or 4 moves, black's position is going to be perfectly fine. But before black gets castled, that's why the engine wants to play c4 here and try to open up the center, while black is still very passive.
It was getting pretty close to the hour mark. Linda has about a 10-minute advantage. Nothing too crazy at the start of a classical game. Still, both players just on move 10. So they're a third of the way done.
Exactly.
Gutala asking, is e4 a move? Similar idea to c4, but the pawn taking would come with a tempo on your knight.
Yeah, what my brother said. Yeah, that's right. Yeah, e4 is not a move you would play.
Someone's asking why DGT boards are so expensive. Well, I guess they're nice boards. You can see it's a nice wooden set, and they have the electronics inside them. So these moves are being sent to chess.com through the board. But they're all connected with like a series of wires to a laptop, and I'm not sure if they've ever had like wireless DGT boards, because it's a lot of wires. And I feel like the DGT software is kind of outdated. I'm not sure if people are working on newer electronic boards. I know there's like Chess Up. There's a ton of different things, but DGT seems like what all the professionals use.
Yeah, a lot of the reason it's expensive is they don't really have competition, so you gotta jack the prices up. But yeah, people have been complaining about the prices of DGT boards for years, and in the U.S. they're shared a lot. Organizers and directors share them with each other, since it's hard to buy a lot of them. On the other hand, the St. Louis Chess Club has plenty of them because they don't have trouble buying them.
We have castles. So Nemo's playing my move, getting a nice big red X there. A missed opportunity. So after bishop to g7, is it too late to play c4?
No, but engine's saying b5, and then it's not saying bishop b3, so I'm very confused. Because, yeah, bishop g7 just seems like the most logical move. And it's not too late to play c4, but it seems like if humans are playing, and they are, that white's going to take on d7 at some point, play queen d4, and hang on to the e-pawn. And then the question is f6 going to be good for black?
Yeah, that checks out. F6, I heard you're not supposed to play it, but sometimes it's a good way to attack the center pawns.
Yeah, and a lot of Frenches and Caro-Cans, when there's a white pawn on e5, we play f6, unfortunately.
That's sad. That's, yeah. I don't play French or Caro. Not for that reason, but it is now a good reason, so I should continue. I play e5.
Mm-hmm.
And if I play against an Italian, I can play the Joe Co piano.
Mm-hmm. Very good, Joe.
Yeah, named after Joe Co. Not Mr. Piano. I think that's Jennifer.
We have a spectator. Yeah, let me see how that game's going.
So I guess that must be Alexandra versus Jennifer Yu. That should be an exciting game.
Yeah, the engine says that Alex with the black pieces is slightly better.
Can't complain with that.
Looks pretty equal to me. Yeah.
Still pretty early here in round 2. Only about an hour into it. Yeah, shout out to the Botezes. I think if you wanted to watch the other game, you could probably find it on their channel. The Botezes are hosting this event, so be sure to go check them out, show them some support, because otherwise none of the players would be here or playing, and none of us would be here watching. So this is definitely a very fun and exciting format for a tournament comprised of only streamers invited by the Botezes in beautiful sunny Malibu, California. I know the players are definitely having a good time. They're making a ton of content as well. If you haven't been watching or following their social media accounts, definitely go look, because they've posted a lot of pictures of like the scenery. It's a gorgeous venue.
Yeah, it looks really nice from my side. I'm only seeing like 5% of it, if that.
Linda Diaz is a musician, actually, and I actually had the chance to ask her in person how she knew Alexandra Botez, who invited her, and apparently, and Ben actually knows Linda from a long time ago. She was a child chess player, and they competed in tournaments growing up together. So, and she's a very strong player, actually. She's not even. I mean, I don't think that she's gonna end up in like the same, I guess, as her. Well, her seed isn't as low as other players. I think she might even be higher than. Is she higher than Andrea? I'm not sure.
Slightly, yeah.
Oh, really?
Mm-hmm.
Okay. And Andrea's been competing consistently. At least recently, traveling with her sister throughout Europe, playing in tournaments. And I heard Europe's where you want to go if you want to gain FIDE.
It can't hurt. Yeah. The Europeans are just giving FIDE rating points away.
I heard that's where it originated.
Exactly. Yeah, there's so many choices here for white. There's c4, queen d4, bishop takes d7. There's lots of options. There's other options too. Just the knight on d7 is pinned. Black doesn't have an immediate threat.
So, Buddy's asking me, how would you unpin your knights, and suggesting b5, which was a move I mentioned earlier, and saying like maybe white has even en passant there, maintaining that pin. But Ben says that you don't want to play b5 because not en passant, but you just bring your bishop back to b3 and maintain your pawn on c5, which is now a long-term asset in the position because it's a connected passed pawn. So, Ben, you mentioned queen d4. I feel like this is a very logical move. I'm not sure if the queen really has a better square, but looks like Nemo's going for...
Well, she did play c4. That's good. That's explosive.
Yes, the explosive c4. Beautiful move. And you mentioned...
And the engine wanted to play it last move, but the fact that she saw the idea and she's playing it now is good. So that's good. And the problem is if black plays d takes c4, white plays knight a3 as I suggested. And I mean, if you're black, you don't want white to play knight takes c4 because it defends the pawn on e5. The knight can hop into d6, and that's just the perfect square for the white knight. On the other hand, you know, you don't want to lose 2 pawns. White try to take on d5 twice. So c4 is an excellent move. This puts a lot of pressure on Linda.
The computer likes c4 a lot more before bishop g7. And the reason why is because you kind of pose a lot of threats and questions to black before they can play bishop g7. And having bishop g7 already played is helpful because black can now castle, which is actually the top move from black, allowing this capture, which is kind of hard to allow, right? You don't really want white to take twice on d5. So this is going to be a really tricky situation here for Linda. Does she decide to castle now, giving up a pawn in the center, especially considering she's already down a pawn? Or does she do something else, like taking on c4, allowing your knight a3 idea? But I wanted to ask, could you also play knight b d2 with the same idea, or is that not a...
Sure, you could do that. It's just I didn't want to block my queen or allow c3 attacking my knight, but knight b d2 is probably just as good.
Yeah, and I love this knight on c4 idea that you mentioned, eyeing d6 within checking distance, to defending the e-pawn, which is one of our weaknesses. Knight directly behind our pawn on c5 also is really strong. We are even further disincentivizing b5, or even something like b6, which I don't really think is a move that Linda's considering, but you know, if your knight's pinned and your bishop can't move on c8, you might start thinking about moving your b pawn. So yeah, very solid position for Nemo. She is about 5 minutes under the hour mark on our clock, but it's time definitely well worth spent, because this is a great position for her. The eval looks like it's fairly close at about an even mark. It's saying plus 0.6 for white, but that is if Linda plays the top move, castles, which she does. And she hasn't really spent that much time either. She has 10 minutes over the hour mark, so about a 15-minute advantage.
Yeah, Linda's playing pretty quickly.
Playing quickly and well, and she gets up from the board, walks around, and I assumed that taking on d5 was good for Nemo, but that is not what the computer wants.
No, the computer's worried that if you take on d5, black could play knight takes e5, and white's rook on a1 is going to get in trouble. So it wants to preface taking on d5 with bishop takes d7, and then take on d5.
So this is a very key moment here for Nemo. She has to take the knight if she wants to maintain her advantage. Because,
Right.
as Ben said, castling has now unpinned the knight. So Linda's threatening to simply capture this pawn with her knight, removing the knight from the attack of the bishop, but even more dangerously, removing this e-pawn from protecting the rook on a1. So very nice find, and I guess this is how you unpin that knight, right? You get the king out of there, you castle,
Mm-hmm.
and that's another reason why c4 before bishop g7 was a lot stronger, because this would not have been a defensive resource for black in that position. So I think Nemo's probably going to see this and want to take that knight. The only other thing I guess you could consider is defending this e-pawn with perhaps queen d4. But then you mentioned maybe f6 is a good move.
Yeah, f6 is possible, or queen c7.
Queen c7 putting more pressure on this pawn, so definitely a target in Nemo's position. So computer does like white, it prefers white after bishop takes on d7, but Linda still playing really solidly and not having spent much of her time. So I'm sure she definitely feels a lot better being up on the clock as opposed to yesterday's game.
Yeah. Yeah, yesterday she just played too slowly in the opening.
So assuming Nemo takes on d7, black has two ways to recapture. And I guess if you take with the queen, you're defending the d-pawn.
Yeah, but I'd like to get my bishop out, because queen takes blocks my bishop, and I need to develop my pieces. So it'll actually be interesting to say which way she takes.
Yeah, the computer does prefer to take back with the bishop, like you said, developing a piece. But this does allow white to then take on d5. And,
Mm-hmm.
you know, I consider myself a pawn grabber. I like taking pawns.
Taking pawns is good.
And Nemo's already up one. She could double her pawn advantage. So, Ben, what's your favorite move?
Bishop f1.
Someone told me it was queen c2.
It was 35 years ago.
Okay, so you've had multiple favorite moves.
Yeah, I used to have a shirt that said queen c2 exclamation mark on it.
I feel like there's got to be a story. Have you played a game with queen c2 being a winning?
It was actually a game that I lost. I was black in a queen c2 Nimzo Indian, and I was so impressed with white's play that I started playing the queen c2 Nimzo Indian, and still play it today. Yeah, I think I was 14 when I lost that game.
That's inspirational.
Oh yeah.
I don't know if I could say I have a favorite move. Maybe the move I play the most is e4. I don't know if that's a cliche answer.
That's a good answer.
There was a video recently of the most rare move, and I forgot what it was, but it must have been something like you can like promote to a bishop twice on light squares, and you have like 3 light square bishops, and you have to delineate like which one it is delivering like a checkmate or something. So it would be like bishop from c2 to some square delivering mate.
Yeah, that makes sense. Photographer's got a photog.
Someone saying they thought your favorite move was F3, but that's probably one of the least favorites.
Always play F3 or something like that.
It's going to be hard for Nemo to do that. I guess she could sacrifice her knight on F3 and take back with her G-pawn. But yeah, Nemo hasn't taken this knight yet.
Yeah, it's the only good move to take the knight and then take on D5. Always take everything.
And she's now under 50 minutes, so it is over a 20-minute time advantage for Linda, who we can barely see on screen. She's leaned back, hands folded, just waiting patiently for Nemo to make her decision. Must be mulling over taking. She's already given up one bishop. It'll be a bishop pair versus a knight pair, which to some people is a nightmare.
Well said. Good rhyme scheme. That was good.
Is Linda a streamer? So Linda actually just made a Twitch account recently. It's LINDA DIAZ. So it's her name, but she doesn't take L's, only W's. I'll give her a shout out in the Nemo chat. I don't know if she's live actually. But yeah, definitely give her a follow. She's trying to get into streaming. She's mostly known for her music, so probably you could find her more so on Spotify or YouTube. I know she's also on Instagram. You can look up, I think it's Linda Diaz Music, but don't quote me on that.
I already quoted you. Darn.
I should have prefaced with that.
Yeah, that's right. Or I'm going to take a bathroom break. That'll make sure the players make a lot of moves.
Wow. As you said it, Nemo's like,
Yep.
oh, shoot.
Yeah, I said it, so she moved instantly. Bishop takes D7. It's good she made the best move.
That's good.
So the engine says queen takes D7 is terrible. Because after knight C3 at some point, attacking the D pawn, we also can play knight A4 to B6. So it really, really hates queen takes D7.
So bishop takes is really important.
Mm-hmm.
Oh, and she's playing
That's why-
queen takes.
Yeah, that's why it's good to not automatically recapture, because there's a lot going on. Yeah, now knight C3 and taking on C4, and the engine says white has a winning position because the bishop on C8's no good. The B6 square we can go to with tempo with our knight.
Wow.
And white's going to be 1 or 2 pawns up for the rest of the game, basically. But yeah, these obvious recaptures, you know, when I was a tournament player, even when I was good, which was a long time ago, I always felt weird when I had 2 recaptures and I didn't know which was better. I always thought if some strong player walks up to the board, they'll be like, why is Ben thinking so long when one recapture is good and one is not good? I was always like, I felt self-conscious, like, I don't know which one's better, but some strong grandmaster comes up and is probably like laughing, like, why is Ben thinking 5 minutes on this obvious recapture? But sometimes the obvious recapture is wrong. So even in positions where you only have 1 or 2 captures, you still have to think a while. And it's funny, it seems like she's overcompensated for playing so slowly yesterday, and today she's playing too quickly.
Yeah, and
But yeah, I knew if I said I had to go to the bathroom that they would start moving. So. Made 3 moves in the next minute.
well, you're more than welcome to go whenever. Maybe if you don't have to go so desperately, you could wait for another pause.
I will desperately go. Yeah,
All
I
right.
will go where no man has gone before. Okay, maybe. Yeah. All right.
All right, see you
Good
soon.
luck keeping the show alive, Joe.
Yeah. Well, it's been harder today than normal. It's been perhaps a little choppy at times, but hopefully Ben's stream is a bit smoother. Oh, yeah, see. Okay, well. Stu, thanks for the sub. Appreciate that. But this is definitely the most exciting part of the game right now. Linda quickly retaking the way that I thought made the most sense with the queen, but Ben sharing his story and wisdom from the past, saying that there used to be grandmasters watching his game wondering why he wasn't taking back the right way instead of just thinking, and now he's the grandmaster looking at Linda's game thinking, why didn't she play bishop takes d7 instead of queen takes d7? But sharing my thought process, which could possibly be what Linda was thinking, is that the queen serves a purpose defending the d5 pawn, and overlooking the simple knight c3 to a4 idea. And once the knight gets to b6, it's very difficult for black to play with that knight on the outpost supported by the c5 pawn. So this is looking to be a very pleasant position for Nemo. And she gets up as we see the cameras back. I shouldn't have said anything. We're gonna have trust issues with this camera moving forward. Ben's tribal back tattoo. I haven't heard of that one. No, the camera did not have this issue yesterday. So Linda, you know, what's funny is after the capture on d7, she took back pretty instantly. And now after the capture on d5, now she slows down. And this is another instance where she has 2 options of recapturing. She could take with the pawn, or she could take with the queen. And this makes a little bit more sense to slow down at, because that decision will determine whether or not you could trade queens, which is a very critical point of the game. This determines if you continue down to an endgame with the queens off, or if you keep the queens on the board and potentially trying to hold on to an isolated queen pawn that Linda could be left with. So if it were me in Linda's position, I would take with the pawn. I don't want to trade queens. I like to keep queens on the board, so I like to attack, and the queen's a very useful attacker. It's possible that Linda's also slowing down because she sees perhaps this idea that Nemo can play the knight into a4. So Linda does take with the pawn. This was the better of the 2 choices here. And now we're expecting knight c3, developing that last minor piece with a tempo. And this is something else that Linda has to really think about. Is, okay, yeah, I am holding on to this pawn, but after knight c3, what do I really do? I mean, I can double my rook behind my queen and try to hold on, or I could let go of that pawn, because if I do that, knight to a4 looks very annoying. Hi, Luke. Good to see you. Yeah, also, Linda is down not 2 pawns, only 1 pawn. But typically when you're down material, you want to leave more material on the board, because that can help you try to regain that. But now Nemo has pounced on this knight c3 opportunity. Obviously, that was the last piece that needed to come out, and doing so with a tempo, I mean, you really couldn't play any other move in that position. And it's possible that she doesn't quite have her eyes set on knight a4 just yet to b6. She is definitely looking at this d5 pawn, I think, first and foremost. But it's going to be interesting to see what Linda comes up with here. She is up about 20 minutes still, which is pretty significant, actually, at that point. The problem is she might have missed out on playing bishop d7 earlier, and now the bishop's kind of stuck behind the queen. So Nemo, having used her time, she's down on the clock, but she's definitely very much up in the position. So we'll see if Linda is able to hold on to this one, similar to yesterday, being down early, but kind of in a reverse situation. She's the one now up on time. Vank, do you really have all the streams open? That is dedication. Why is the advantage bar showing different here versus the broadcast? Well, that's a good question. There's a lot of different computers that you could even select on chess.com to read evals. And between the same computer, or I guess I should say engine, it could be at different depths, and it could also just depend. So like the eval that I'm seeing on my board could be different than what Ben's seeing on his board versus what you guys are seeing at home.
Yeah, my eval says white's winning.
And Ben's talking about the eval in his head.
No. See, the thing is, if white like wins the pawn on d5 and puts, queen d4, rook d1, I mean, white's up 2 pawns, and 2 bishops aren't going to matter if white plays something like knight b6 or knight f6, winning one of the black bishops. And black doesn't really have any dynamic counterplay, basically because the knight on d7 is gone, so the e5 pawn, I mean, e5 pawn and c5 pawn were weak. Then white played b4, and that took care of the c pawn, and with the knight on d7 gone, that sort of takes care of the e pawn, and the weakest pawn on the board right now is probably the d5 pawn, because white has so many ways to attack it with the queen and the rook and the knight. So black just has a defensive task, and black's already down a pawn. It's not clear to me if black can even save the d pawn, and if black loses the d pawn and doesn't win the e5 pawn, 2 pawns is 2 pawns. That's 2 pawns too many. What's funny is Nemo hasn't played slow chess in over 2 years. At her first game, she played over 97. At this game, she's playing over 95. So it seems like she hasn't lost a step.
Yeah, Nemo's definitely impressing for sure. Knowing that she's been spending a ton of time on other things besides chess, like poker, as one major example. But she looks like she hasn't missed a beat. She's definitely seemingly in top shape, good form.
Yeah, and Linda's been out of chess for a long time, so it's not really surprising that she's rusty.
So Linda's giving up this pawn. There wasn't really that much else you could have done.
Boy, the engine doesn't like that move either.
Yeah, queen e6, and now Nemo can continue with her knight taking this pawn along the way to a potential fork on c7. So instead of going for knight b6 fork, she has now c7 as an option, and the knight on d5 can go to b6 anyways. So
yeah, the problem, like normally if I was white and I played knight takes d5, the only move I'm worried about is rook d8. But white could play e4, and now white's threatening knight g5 because there's no rook on f8 anymore. And that's if 7 pawn falls, that's not going to be good. So yeah, knight takes d5 is winning, queen takes d5 is winning. White's going to be up 2 pawns, and the absolute best black could hope for in the future is to win the e5 pawn and only be down 1 pawn. And it's not clear that black can even achieve that. And I said it before I went to the bathroom, and I'll say it again. I think Linda's playing too quickly to make up for her playing too slowly yesterday. And I think as a consequence, she's not playing as well.
yeah, so Linda might have a Goldilocks experience. She played too quick, now played she played too slow, then too quick. So her third game, she'll play just right.
Exactly. I mean, if she plays just right and loses, I don't think I could bear it. Yeah, Nemo looks pretty happy. Yeah, Nemo's actually taking the right amount of time. She's playing the right speed, I think, both games.
Yeah, here you mentioned knight takes d5. There's rook d8, pinning the knight. So I feel like, yes, you have e4, very logical. But that does very much tempt me to play queen takes d5, knowing that I could get the queens traded. Like if queen takes queen, knight takes on d5 is great. Both moves are very much winning. Both moves are showing over +3 eval. But the computer does prefer taking with a knight, leaving the queens on the board. Also, if you take with the queen on d5, black probably wouldn't trade queens. They don't want to invite the knight to d5, so probably better to bring the knight. Oh, she does go with the queen.
Yeah, I think that's the simplest way to avoid any complications. Just be up 2 pawns.
The St. Louis Chess Club rating me back-to-back days. Shout out to St. Louis Chess Club. So yeah, welcome everyone back in. This is round 2 of the Botez Invitational. We're once again following Nemo's game, this time with the white pieces against Linda Diaz. I'm Joe, joined again by the one and only Ben. Go Ben.
Go Ben.
And yeah, eval a second ago was rating +3. Now it's only +2.7. So sometimes even the same engine will give you different evals, I guess, depending on how long it's had to think. but still very good for Nemo, who's been spending, Ben said, the right amount of time, so she's already had her Goldilocks experience.
The move the engine likes, bishop d7, that's not very human, because the queen just went to d5. That would allow queen takes b7, which the engine isn't afraid of. But bishop d7 is a weird move. But there's not a lot going for black here. I don't have a lot to suggest. So just wants to play bishop d7 to c6. But I mean, white's just up material, and black, doesn't really have any compensation. And I think both players realize that once I said the game would end in 30 moves, that there wasn't really much left to the game. They just play to move 30, black will resign, and I'll be correct.
Yeah, I think the bishop on c6 would be a good piece. Like if Nemo gets baited into taking on b7, the queen can get into a tricky situation. You don't really want to allow bishop c6, but also there's other ideas like rook going to b8. The queen might even get trapped. But like you said, bishop d7, maybe not the most natural move to play. And if you're going to give up a pawn, like you're already down 2, so being down 3 pawns is a lot. That's a lot of pawns.
Well, I think if I was one of the players and I didn't want to play queen takes queen, which I don't, that probably logical move would be rook e8 to put more pressure on the e5 pawn. And again, I'm sort of worried later white's going to play knight g5, or white's going to later play knight c7 with my rook on e8. But rook e8 seems like it puts pressure on the e5 pawn at least. So it gives black some counterplay. But the tactics don't seem to work very well for black. There's always some problem with f7 being weak, or a knight coming to b6 or c7. Other problem is bishop on c8 is blocking the rook on a8.
Yeah. I feel like black, if they could, they'd love to play rook d8. But
yeah,
of course, the rook is hanging there, so you need some sort of support or defense of this, and one idea to do that is developing your light square bishop. So maybe Linda does find bishop d7. That being the top choice that we mentioned, the second best move is queen back to e7.
I mean, that's not very human at all to play queen e7 then play queen e6, or vice versa. Whatever I said, but reverse it.
Hello, Chicken. Shout out to Chicken. Famous Bughouse streamer.
I wonder if he's from Kiev.
I think he's from Philadelphia.
Yeah, but that's not funny.
I heard it's always sunny there.
It is. Great show, great show. Yeah, Linda doesn't seem very happy.
Yeah, she still has her jacket on, so it might be a while before the jacket comes off. She might need to keep bundling up to protect herself from Nemo's attacks. She's up 2 pawns, and it's not looking great for the black pieces. Nemo, as been predicted, is steamrolling through the center of the board.
Yeah, very aggressive play by Nemo. It's good that she found the critical move c4 earlier in the game. That was the explosive move.
So, explosions on the board. Queen takes d5. Another pawn biting the dust. And connecting the rooks. Nemo's going to bring more firepower to the d file. This is a very pleasant game. Nemo's quickly going to get her first win of the tournament with 1.5 out of 2 score, assuming nothing goes wrong here. Nothing will. I mean, I know the commentator's curse. Ben, I'm sure you've probably jinxed many players in your day.
I try.
But I think it's going to be hard for us to jinx Nemo.
Yeah, I was jinxing her almost before the game started. So, yeah, I think she's going to come through this game. Somebody in my chat said they think that Diaz is going to trade queens.
Yeah, you really don't want to trade queens. Like, knight takes on d5. That's a monstrous knight.
Mm-hmm.
Really helping Nemo in that position. Like, we were saying previously that the knight wanted to be on d5, and Nemo's only concern was getting pinned, rook d8. So that's probably the main reason why you start with queen takes d5. Essentially having the hopes that black would take on d5, but Linda's thinking a while here because maybe this queen capture, this queen trade is like the obvious move, but because you know you don't want to do it, it's harder to find an alternative, right? So, you know.
Yeah, and she played queen d7 and queen e6 relatively quickly, and neither one turned out to be good moves. Some of the other players are showing up, doing stuff.
Some photo shoots happening.
Oh, that looks like a photo shoot. You're right.
That was Anna. I didn't see who the other player was.
Dina was the other player, and she had the pineapple shirt on.
I did see that, so that checks out. We could definitely see some of these camera shots. Not anymore.
Oh, there we go.
Hello, Chester. This video is in Malibu. Noob Cake is calling for queen to g4. And has kept saying it. So, yeah, queen g4 does avoid the queen trade. How do you feel about queen g4, Ben?
I mean, it takes pressure off of e5. It does threaten the b4 pawn, but I mean, it doesn't. Whatever black does, black's going to be losing. So black has to figure out which way gives her the best practical chances. Probably more practical chances by leaving the queens on. So maybe that's not bad.
And it's tough to find a move when you feel like every move loses.
Yeah. I've been there, done that. Yeah, usually when I'm playing in tournaments, I don't have photo shoots going on the next board. But it's a different kind of tournament. This is why I retired.
Usually the photo shoot's happening at your board.
Well, I don't know about that.
I almost got you. You almost agreed with it. Unknown newbie asking me if we know the accuracy for both players. Sorry, that was a while ago, but I'll share it now. So Nemo is at 92.6%, and Linda is at 84.7%. I don't think Linda will resign here. I think we're kind of far from resigning.
Right. Yeah, we're exactly 14 moves from resigning.
Yeah, so we're just over halfway to the 30 move game limit that Ben has predicted. I'm sure Ben could have commentated this game before it happened.
Yeah, why wait for the moves? Just say what's going to happen beforehand.
Actually, I don't think I can turn my mic up. Maybe I can. Yeah, my mic is pretty close to maxed out. I guess it wasn't quite. But now it is. I guess I have to talk louder.
I hear you good. That's all that matters.
Ben has good. He's a good listener. Their clocks are getting closer to each other. Linda using her time now when it's difficult to find a move. I guess it was easier to find the moves earlier, but they weren't good. So now it's harder to find good moves. That's why it's taking her some time here.
Yeah, this might be the longest think that Diaz has had the whole game. Yeah, Linda doesn't look very happy.
Sack account asking, do you think she'll queen to queen? I don't think she'll trade queens. Because we don't want to allow white to take back with a knight in the center. So we're expecting a queen trade declined. Someone was suggesting queen to g4. The computer likes queen to e7, which is not very natural. The computer likes bishop d7, trying to play bishop c6, as well as rook d8 and other ideas. But these are not easy moves to find because they're still very good for white. So if Linda's looking for a move that's good for black, we could be here a bit longer.
Yeah, and I think if she plays the best move, queen e7, then white should play queen d4 to get the knight into d5 with tempo. That's one reason not to play queen e7 is you see the white knight's going to go to d5 later and make your queen move again. Where the camera leaving is becoming more frequent.
Yeah, we're gonna have someone help out. I think it could be someone on site also trying to adjust some of the settings.
Special guest appearances by the other players. That's the problem with sacrificing pawns is you need to play with a lot of energy and force the issue and get compensation. And if you take your foot off the gas, you may find yourself in a position like this where you're down material, don't really have anything for it. And it seemed like Linda's play was imprecise when it needed to be super precise. Moves like Queen D7 and Queen E6 and even G6, the engine didn't like very much. So White has a nice stable material advantage, and Black just doesn't have a lot of counterplay.
And there's Nemo returning. Still waiting for her opponent to move. Nemo now under, or sorry, Linda's now under Nemo on time. So this is Nemo's first time advantage of the game. Camera keeps going black because of on-site camera issues. So we're trying to troubleshoot a couple things. Seems to be, unfortunately, not working.
Even in the future, nothing works.
Even if we don't see the camera feed, we can still see that Nemo's got a great position. And now Linda has run out of moves. Now running out of time. Let's go back over the game perhaps from the start while we wait. It's been a while since we've shown. We've got perhaps some new people tuning in. Nemo's got the white pieces, and we have a Karo Khan, E4, D4, Black playing C6, and now D5. Nemo plays an advanced E5. Linda tries C5 immediately, and Nemo takes that pawn. Black playing E6, attacking the pawn with their bishop. Nemo defending the pawn with the bishop on E3. We have the knight developing, attacking both the center pawns. So Nemo pins the knight with bishop to B5. The other knight comes out to E7. Knight to F3 developing, and pretty much ignoring the threat on the bishop. Here, B4 protects that pawn, which was under attack again, with the threat of removing that defender on E3, which Linda does. And after bishop A4, Nemo goes back. And now here, G6 is where the computer starts disliking Linda's position. G6 trying to develop the bishop with the fianchetto, but being a little too slow, allowing C4. So Nemo doesn't go for c4 right away. She castles. And only after the bishop fianchetto does she go for c4, attacking in the center. Black simply castles, unpinning the knight. So right now, Nemo with a very critical trade on d7 first. And this is really the last opportunity, I think, that Linda had to maintain some chances, needing to take back, developing the minor piece, taking with the bishop, giving up the pawn on d5, but playing for something like bishop c6. Instead, we see queen takes, trying to maintain a pawn in the center, but unfortunately, after the trade and knight to c3 that Nemo found, there was really no way to save this position without Nemo making mistakes. So far, Nemo has traded on d5 and now is awaiting Linda's move, which she did end up playing. Queen to g4, which was predicted quite a long time ago, actually, in my chat, I believe, from Noob Cake.
Yeah, this position is just so bad. White has so many good moves here, and they're very natural, like queen d4, a3, just defending the b pawn. And it's still difficult for black to develop her bishop on c8 because b7 is hanging. So there's just so many good moves for white. Yeah, the evaluation bar is almost at the top.
So
yeah, you know things haven't gone well when you play queen d7, queen e6, queen g4, and your queen side pieces still haven't developed.
Yeah. Your first choice, queen d4, is the computer's top choice as well, which again offers a queen trade, but also defends some of your material. And it also frees up the d5 square for the knight.
That's right. Yeah, I mean, black just has one threat to take on b4, so anything that prevents that is good for white. Like there's a lot of activity in the tournament room.
Lots of movement. Definitely there was a little bit of a photo shoot on the other board. All these players definitely trying to make the most of their time there, making content. It's hard sometimes when the camera doesn't work.
That makes it tougher.
That's Jennifer Yu on the right-hand side, walking back to her board.
Yeah, she has an excellent position against Alex Botez. Alex made a mistake, and now Jennifer has two bishops for a rook.
Two bishops.
Yep. The only way to beat two bishops is two knights.
Which is what Nemo has.
Coincidentally.
Has Andrea grown lately? I think she's been the same height for a while. I think that she's probably done growing vertically. I stopped growing vertically, I guess, either late high school or early college, but I'm still growing horizontally. So
What? I got a sub? Wow.
wow.
Thanks, MB Super Mario. I didn't know those still existed.
Yeah, I need to go to the gym more. I know Andrea definitely works out. She's been chess boxing in the past. Same with Dina. They've had their match together. But Queen D4 played, saying, please take my queen, and I'll take back with my pawn. Fixing my structure. So Linda will politely decline, which means she'll need to find a new home for her queen. Again. It's a lot of queen moves.
Yeah, there's nothing really to suggest for black. It's just a choice of different losing moves.
I guess she doesn't actually have to move the queen. That could be her queen's final resting place, allowing Nemo to trade. But probably Nemo won't even take, because that will help Linda develop her bishop. Probably she'll just play like knight d5.
Yeah, the knight's good on d5 or e4. And it doesn't seem likely that Linda's going to win the e5 pawn, which is too well protected.
Yeah, and black still has to connect the rooks, so probably still a bishop move is what you need, and after Linda moves the bishop, maybe then Nemo would trade queens, making the bishop have to move twice. But still, knight d5 is a strong move. Buddy asking if there's a possibility for a threefold from black.
No.
Yeah, I wouldn't see how you could do that. I guess to have threefold. Are you saying you think black would go back to like e6? Because if
That must be what they're thinking, and then white would definitely not play queen d5.
Yeah, white would play knight d5.
Yeah.
Probably. And if we're still worried about, I guess, rook d8, like again, we still have e4.
Yeah, I'm not worried about rook d8 because my queen's on d4, so I can play rook d1 or e4.
Yeah, rook d1 is good. So the difference here is when black's queen was on e6 earlier, our queen was still on d1. But now that our queen's on d4, knight d5 is less scary of rook d8 because we can double our rook behind our queen. And yeah, we still have the e4 move. It likes knight d5 better than queen d5 for white, but it's even better now if black were to go back to e6. So, and Linda doesn't want to go back to e6. Probably the bishop would rather be on e6, which actually helps control the d5 square and connect the rooks again, trying to go for rook d8. You have a big fan in Nemo's chat saying, "Fine gold, I love you," with 2 exclamation points. Brilliant.
Yeah, but they're probably talking about some other fine gold.
I guess they said it in Nemo's chat, so you could
Yeah, it could be anybody.
you could question who they really love. I'm gonna turn my fan off real quick. And that forced Linda to move.
Yeah, she played bishop e6. That's fine. Again, plenty of moves are good for white. Just putting the rook on d1, h3 attacking the queen. Sure, knight e4 to d6 is pretty good.
Both players with 37 minutes. Nemo poses a question to the queen, h3.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, it's good against left too, in case you need it, which you don't.
And then she promptly runs off. Brusco is saying Jennifer knows who she'll see in the final. I don't know who she'll see. Who will she see, Brusco? So Nemo actually played Jennifer yesterday in the first round. Yeah, beyond Mike asking, there's a final? No, this is a round robin tournament, so everyone plays each other once.
Oh, she played queen h5.
Yeah, queen h5 before Nemo could come back. If the leaders draw in a round robin, I'm not sure if they have tiebreakers.
Go, Nemo. You can do it. Finally, Diaz got her bishop off of c8 and developed and connected her rooks.
The rooks are indeed connected. And Linda is back up on time by a few seconds. Big advantage.
I mean, the two most logical moves are the best moves. Rook a d1 and knight e4. Knight on e4 wants to go to d6. And rook a d1, take over the d file, also good.
Yeah, Nemo might spend a lot of time here because every move is good. It's hard to choose one.
Mm-hmm. That's
Hey,
correct.
Vig, rating with 17. Thank you, Vig. How was your stream? Thank you so much. Welcome. We're watching, or at least trying to watch, Nemo versus Linda in the second round of the Botez Invitational. Nemo's gotten herself a significant advantage in the position, over +3.5. And a very pleasant position to play. She's up 2 pawns. It's 2 knights versus 2 bishops. But black has very few options. The queen has been chased around the board. And Nemo now contemplating how to best put her pieces. Does she want to put the rooks in the center? Does she want to put the knights in the center? Onto d6.
Yeah, d6 is such a nice square for the white knight. Really kills black's rooks. And she might play rook a d1 just to get the rook off of the diagonal with the black bishop on g7, just so that all of her pieces are in that diagonal. Although knight e4 sort of accomplishes that too. There are too many good moves.
When you put a rook behind your queen and you double on the d file, if black were to go rook d8, are you taking both rooks for your queen?
In this position, I am, yeah.
But probably avoiding that is still winning.
Yeah, of course.
So
everything wins.
yeah, I think for me, I would, if you're winning like this, I feel like giving up the queen for two rooks is a risk that is unnecessary. Perhaps giving an imbalance or a complication that maybe gives black chances to come back in a way. So that's something that I feel like I would want to avoid. And so I think knight e4 is preferable, because if the rook goes to the d file, you'll just plant your knight on d6, which is what you wanted to do anyways. So
yeah, I like both moves, and knight e4 to d6 is pretty tempting.
yeah, Crate asking what opening was played. Nemo started with e4, and Linda played a caro. This is FIDE rated, yes. If you want to learn more about it, there's an events page on chess.com with all the details. And rook ad1 was played. This was actually the computer's top choice. And yeah, the computer does want black to play a rook in the center, but not to d8. Instead says rook a to e8, which is kind of awkward. It kind of feels like you're blocking in the rook on the f file.
Yeah, that's true. Yeah, his position's so difficult for black. White has two extra pawns and the better position.
So that number next to Linda's name is not her birth year. It is
Although
her...
Nemo's number is her birth year, 2201.
Nemo was sent back in time to stream chess. Hello, Nifa. Nemo is not reading the chat, Denoy. Hopefully. Okay. Camera's getting a little too much. I think it's off more than it's on. Hi, Vindictive. Hello, Eoins.
So Linda's not born in 1956. That's right. That is true. If she was a time traveler, she could be reading the chat. Yeah, that's true. Is there anybody there trying to fix the camera? They gave up.
We're gonna send Vila a couple different settings that he can try messing with. Although I guess technically the last time that happened, it's gotten worse. But it's probably getting worse with time.
Turn the camera off and turn it on again. That's the only way to fix anything.
So Joda redeems the hand heart. I don't know if you want to do it with me, Ben. I don't know if Nemo's channel points are worth anything. Anything valuable, but I guess at a minimum I'll do it. Maybe Ben would do it for 5,000 real currency.
What am I doing?
A hand heart.
What's that?
If you make a heart with your hands.
Why would I do that?
Someone redeemed it in Nemo's chat.
Oh.
You don't have to. I did it for us.
Oh, okay, good.
Someone wants to know, you know, people were speculating if we're in the same room or not. We could try to make one together.
That's right. Yeah.
I missed my opportunity. Oh, I guess it was kind of the other way.
Yeah.
All right. I don't think mine are as good as Nemo's, but you'll have to make do with them. Someone redeemed Gandalf in my channel yesterday, and I forgot to refund them still, so I'll have to do that later. Someone asking if F6 is good.
I don't think it's Black's move. Oh, it is Black's move. Well, that's good commentating. F6 is never good.
Yeah, never play F6.
I mean, every move loses, so every move is equally good.
Nemo's yet to play a bad move.
Yeah, I agree. F6 is as good as any. Got to get some counterplay.
All right, I think we're gonna try. We're gonna take the camera off for a little bit, Ben. It's just gonna be you and me and the board between us. So it's a little bored, but that's okay. I think we're gonna try to fix this camera though. So
yeah, that's good. Me and you and the camera and the board.
the board. It's like we're playing now.
Yeah. Hopefully, I'm white.
Is this Owens gifting a sub to Vindictive? Thank you. And yeah, luckily it's a classical game, so we're not really missing any moves almost, if any.
Yeah, the board between us has the right position. Also, unlike most streams, we're not under delay. This is live. Yeah, your shirt's white and my shirt's black, so I guess I'm black. I've had worse positions.
I've lost from better positions against weaker players.
Haven't we all? Yeah, I guess if I had black here, then F6 makes a lot of sense to try to open the position up for the bishops. Because white just plays knight e4 to d6. She's not going to have any trouble. The other way to play is to put one of the rooks on e8 and try to win the pawn back on e5. Which seems difficult to do because then the knight is going to d6 with tempo, and you have to worry about your b7 pawn.
So we have someone out there trying to help with the camera. We're trying new settings. But the good news is now you guys can see Ben and me better.
Yeah, that's good. Not only would I not come back with black, I'd probably lose with white.
Hopefully the viewers can enjoy this view while they can, because we'll get this camera back and
Yeah.
Ben and I will be tucked away in the corner of the stream again.
Such a tough position for black, because everything that looks normal is losing, and you have to find the way that gives white the most headaches.
Ben and I have been in the same room before, but I don't think we are right now.
We might be, we just don't know it.
We could be making the moves on the board if we wanted to, but yeah, I haven't played Ben over the board, but Ben and I have played a few games online. I think on Ben's stream at least. I think Ben
You raised me all in. No, don't do that.
How does Nemo's poker compare to her chess? She's good at both.
Mm-hmm.
I don't know how exactly you could compare them. I guess poker has like live earnings, right? It's different than ELO.
Yeah, I mean, it's hard to say how good somebody is at poker.
It's a lot easier in chess.
Yes.
Probably more profitable to be better at poker.
Yeah. Yeah, she's relatively new at poker compared to chess.
Vindictive asking if people don't get as much information about their opponent's skills in poker. Yeah, I also think like in chess, it's very difficult for like a beginner player to win against a strong player. Whereas in poker, you have this element of chance, right? Where like a poker player could do everything right and still lose. But if you're a chess player and you do everything right, it's pretty hard to lose.
I've done it, but it's not easy.
It takes a true amount of skill.
Exactly.
Trying to
Nemo
learn.
actually has a nice time advantage now. Linda's getting back to her old ways of never moving.
Trying to learn, saying, what did they miss? Well,
No, he said, what did I miss? Because he was gone for a while.
what did I say?
What did they miss or we miss?
Oh,
He meant what did he miss because he wasn't here.
yeah.
You missed the camera flickering a lot and us turning it off.
Yeah, so we're having someone out there reset it. But yeah, we can go back through the game. So I've done it twice now, I think. Maybe it's Ben's turn
What happened?
to go over the game from the start.
Oh yeah, we need a recap. Yeah. Okay, so they started with the Caro-Kann. Then Nemo played the advanced variation with e5. And here, the most common move is bishop f5, but a lot of people play c5. And my followers know that several months ago, I made a video on YouTube about this variation that white usually takes. Black can play knight c6 or e6. E6 is more common. And now Nemo decided to do what happened in her game yesterday, except this time she was the one trying to hold on to the extra pawn. She played bishop e3, defending the c5 pawn. And we saw Nemo in the same situation yesterday against Jennifer Yu. Jennifer had a pawn on c5 she was trying to hold on to. And knight d7 attacks the pawn. Bishop b5 pins the knight. Notice the knight was also attacking not only the c5 pawn, but the e5 pawn. So Nemo pinned the knight. Knight e7, knight f3, knight f5. And here, I think correctly, Nemo played b4, giving away the two bishops. But white is still up a pawn. And after a6, Nemo could take the knight or play bishop a4. They both give white an advantage. And now for the next, probably about the next 5 of the 9 moves that Linda played, the engine wasn't a fan of. Here, for example, the engine wanted to play a5, attacking white's queen side. But she played g6. Nemo should immediately play c4 here. She delayed it a move, but that was fine. Castles, bishop g7 to c4. And now, if black takes on c4, white can attack the pawn with the knight, probably knight a3, followed by knight takes c4 with a dominating position with an extra pawn. So Linda correctly castled. Now the e5 pawn is attacked because the knight's not pinned anymore since black just castled. So bishop takes knight. And here Linda quickly recaptured the wrong way. The engine says white's still better, but black should play bishop takes d7, getting the bishop out. And instead she took with the queen. And now the engine thought white was winning. White's up material, and black, after taking on d5 and playing knight c3, black's going to be down possibly 2 pawns, which actually happened very quickly. Linda again made another mistake with queen e6. And after queen takes d5, she thought a long time and played queen g4. Doesn't make queen e6 look like a good move. Queen d4, bishop e6 is reasonable. Rook h3, I'm sorry. Then rook a d1. And we've been here for, I think, over 10 minutes waiting for Diaz to move. Now, we haven't got to move 20 yet, and Linda has less than 20 minutes. And the first 10 moves of the game, Linda played very quickly, and then the last 7 moves or so, she's taking a long time on each move, and she's getting herself into time trouble. So Nemo's winning on the board, and she's winning on the clock. So far, so good for white.
And I'm going to try getting her camera back. Let's see. Oh, there it is. It's very zoomed in.
Wow.
It's on the other side.
Very artsy, too.
But hey, I mean, this I guess is better than nothing. But
Close.
all right. We'll make it do with what we've got.
Perfect.
Now we see them again. Also, you know, hey, we got a new perspective. You can see where the other camera failed us. Yeah, so behind where the cameras used to be is just basically a large door going to the backyard. Lots of windows. You can see also there's a piano behind Nemo, who's now leaning back.
We can't see the clock this way, but we can see the clock times on the screen, so that should be good enough.
And Nemo almost has twice amount of time as Linda now, who's under 20 minutes. And we're not quite at move 20, which would be halfway to the 40 move mark, where Linda would get an extra 30 minutes. But yeah, I think Ben's sticking true with his
30 moves, that's right.
original, and we
Oh, and she
see
played rook a d8. Yeah, the engine says that taking the 2 rooks is now like almost +7. Because we get to play knight e4 with tempo, threatening knight f6 check, and knight f to g5, and basically white's attack just crashes through.
All right, so
Yeah, I have no doubt that she'll take the rook. Because white's knights... Oh, she played queen e4 quickly. Wow. I mean, because white's knights are so aggressive on e4 and f6 and g5. But she's like you. She didn't want to trade anything and just keep the easy win where it is, and it's hard to protect the b pawn.
yeah, I was gonna say that's a big moment there. Nemo, that was one of the fastest moves that Nemo's played for the entire game, actually. But to be fair, I guess Linda was using a lot of time on that move. That move took her 20 minutes, and 3 moves before that took her 21 minutes. So she spent over 40 minutes on 2 of her moves. And now she has 16 minutes to Nemo's 33. And Nemo, I assume, must have been contemplating the queen for 2 rooks exchange during Linda's time and was prepared to decline this. Also, you know, if Linda plays rook d8, you must assume that she has to be somewhat ready for that trade, even if it was not a good position. But either way, accepting it or declining it, Nemo holds on to a very firm lead here in the position.
Yeah, exactly.
We have a question. Is this the Botez house? This is not the Botez house. They are, I guess, renting this out for the tournament. This is in Malibu. And Mesk saying that the Botez's house is even bigger. Yeah, I don't think their place could accommodate all 8 players. All right, bishop to h6 played from Linda.
Put it in h.
Another
So
move.
she's looking after the other pawn, the e3 pawn instead of the e5 pawn.
Something that feels somewhat annoying is bishop f5 attacking the queen.
Mm-hmm.
But I guess there's queen takes on b7. So bishop h6 keeps the queen kind of tethered to this e pawn in a way.
Yeah, she can make a simple move like defend her pawn, but I think with the pawns on e5 and c5, you want to play rook d6, ensconce your rook on d6, and then queen has d4 available later in case of like bishop f5. Just a good square for the rook. Yeah, she played rook d6. Just what you want to do.
And there she has it. So
Good positional move.
So yeah, black before bishop h6. If you look at this, black is trying to attack the queen. Queen goes to e4. If you fall with the bishop, then white can simply take this pawn. The c pawn becomes a pass pawn. So a move like bishop to h6 perhaps prepares this bishop f5 idea.
Yep.
Because if you take on b7, then you lose your e pawn with check, which can be annoying. And maybe even you have like sacrifice ideas on h3, or you really don't want to give up the pawn with check for no reason. So Linda's preparing bishop f5 by putting pressure on the e pawn, tying the queen down. And Nemo counters with rook d6, very solid move, and essentially just frees the d file for the queen. So the queen using the rook as shelter. We're not going to take this b pawn and drop the e pawn. If bishop f5 is played attacking the queen, like Ben said, now we can play queen d4, where we've essentially swapped the places of the queen and rook, and now threatening to take. And if black is forced to take on d6, then white's very happy, taking back with one of the pawns, creating a connected passed pawn deep in the center.
Yeah, problem with black's position here, other than being down 2 pawns, is there's virtually nothing to do here. I don't have a good plan for black. Can make 1 move threats or half move threats, but they're not easy to. It's not easy for white to stop those threats. And she put her bishop back on c8 to defend her pawn on b7. This actually makes more sense if black's bishop is on g7, so that black can play rook e8 and put pressure on the e5 pawn. Now black doesn't really have sufficient pressure on either e pawn, so white can play double the rooks, queen d4, or more likely, since the bishop's on h6, white's going to play knight d5 with the super threat of knight f6 check. And, probably it's even good to put the knight on f4 since the black queen is not doing so well. There's so many good moves for white. It's hard to predict what she'll do because every move wins. Basically, white's 2 pawns up and has a better position to boot.
And
But yeah, the engine does like knight d5 because knight f6 check is sort of annoying.
it's a minor nuisance. Definitely something Linda would have to scratch her head about. And we have a move, knight d5. Knight d5, putting a piece in the center, threatening a royal fork.
I mean, this is if you have a student, if you're a chess teacher, chess coach, and you're teaching beginning students, this is a great position to show them. One side completely dominating the center with everything, and black on the back row and on the H file. So I mean, it's not only that white's 2 pawns up, but white has total domination of the center, and black is just super passive. So really, really nice game from Nemo.
Yeah, another idea that I had, you mentioned the queen not doing too hot. I was thinking we could try trapping the queen with a move like king h2, preparing for g4.
Mm-hmm.
Someone was saying g4 earlier. The problem was that the h pawn would fall. But knight d5 maybe a little bit more principled, because you're still threatening to win the queen, but with a minor piece instead of a pawn. And moving the king to move the pawn also kind of creates weaknesses, potentially. I guess your knight on c3 was the least active piece of white's, so improving it into the center is definitely very good. And yeah, Linda's last move, bringing the bishop back, frees up this d5 square. So there's a great opportunity to pounce on it. And I thought you were going to say, Ben, that bishop c8 is not only defending the pawn on b7, but it's also preparing for the next game.
It is. And my commentary for the rest of the game is every move for white wins and every move black plays loses. And that's my highly paid commentary. The engine's already given up. The thermometer's all the way to the top. And it's already, everything is +7 for white.
And I guess my commentary, I have to point out all the moves that lose for Nemo.
It's not easy to do. That's tough commentary.
Well, yeah, it's tough when your evaluation's +7. That means you could lose your queen, and it's only -2, maybe, if that math checks out.
Math is a little suspicious in chess, but okay.
Hello, Dijon. Good morning. Yes, Nemo's doing very well here. Nemo is in round 2 of the Botez Invitational, playing against Linda Diaz, who lost yesterday to Alexander Botez in a rook and pawn endgame. Nemo, coming off of a draw with the black pieces against the top seed, Jennifer Yu, looks to continue to be in tip-top shape here, playing some really top quality moves. And you can really see it in the position as well as the time. Linda playing this game very quickly to start, slowing down a lot once the position got tough, and perhaps too tough. So all the time couldn't really save Linda at this point. And we see Nemo.
It's possible any move Linda could just resign for no reason because it's over. And like if two players over 2,700 were playing a slow game, black would have resigned. This is a resignable position.
Although Linda's gonna play it out a couple more moves, probably 8 more moves to be precise.
Right, exactly, to move 30, right?
So yes, the king move makes a lot of sense. The knight doesn't land with the fork, and knight does attack the queen on f6, but it doesn't trap the queen. The queen does have f5 to go to. So maybe Nemo leaves the knight on d5. Although the knight on f6
again, every move wins. Queen d4 is pretty logical, says it lines up the queen with the king on h8. It also makes a potential battery with the queen and rook. Knight f6 is very logical. Knight f4 is very logical. Just
Yeah.
King h2, as you suggested before, to play g4 is also good. There's just nothing black can do.
Yeah, before Linda's move, while Nemo was waiting, she was leaned back in the chair, arms folded, just patiently waiting. Now that it's her turn, we see her leaning forward, weighing how much she likes each option, because they're all good, as Ben said. So she gets to choose her favorite way to win. It's a matter of taste at this point.
It's hard to believe after the first 9 or 10 moves of this game that Linda has so little time because she was playing so quickly. But I guess if you take 20 minutes on 2 different moves, then get your time down pretty quickly.
That math checks out. But yeah, Nemo doesn't need a rush for anything. She can do whatever she wants, whenever she wants. What you don't want to do is make some careless mistake. I'm not really sure how she could do it. I mean, yeah, people were suggesting G4. Like, I'm sure G4 still wins. But, I mean, why rush into something this quick?
Well, the last time that she did rush, she was actually at university and she was late to class and had to turn in a book report on Tom Sawyer. I think I've baffled my co-host. My chat sort of got it. That's good.
Ah, wait. Sorry. I was thinking of the book, not the band. I do like Rush.
Mm-hmm.
I like classic rock. Yeah, Neil Peart, rest in peace. The GOAT. But yeah, King H2 makes a lot of sense. I guess after King H2, probably you want to escape with F5. But even then, like, I don't even think I want to trade queens. I think I just play Queen D4 like you said.
Yeah, Black's queen is terribly placed on H5. It's virtually trapped. So White's queen is great.
Yeah, every white piece is great. Every black piece is pretty bad. I guess the rook on D8 is the only thing doing something. But it's not a happy piece. Yeah, Tom Sawyer is a song by Rush, but Tom Sawyer is also a fictional character in a book.
It's something we discuss a lot on my stream, and by a lot I mean like once a year, is there's 4 kinds of people in the world. People who have heard of the band Aerosmith, people who have heard of the book Aerosmith, people who have heard of both, and the 4th kind is the people who have heard of both and know that they're spelled differently. Which one of those people are you, Joe?
I've heard of the band.
There you go.
Yeah, Kevin also didn't know there's so a lot of people are like me, I guess.
Yeah.
Yeah, to be fair, when you first said she was rushing in college, I was thinking of like Greek life.
Yeah. I was thinking of park life, but she was running so fast it was a blur. That was easily my best joke of the day. Easily.
Like I still
Wasn't even
was...
close. I should leave like George Costanza now.
I had a feeling it was funny. I still didn't get the reference, but I do. There was
The
something...
truth hurts.
Oh boy. Yeah. That skiing is saying the bar was low, to be fair.
My jokes are too complicated for the chat.
The crowd's just not educated enough.
It's true.
The folks at home watching from YouTube are gonna love that one.
Exactly.
Oh, King H2 played.
Exclam, former muscle.
So I don't know what else you could do besides something with F5. Okay, computer's giving you a couple other options, but I feel like regardless, Queen D4 next is going to be fairly strong. Yeah, we're going to see Linda dwindle down low on the clock and then forced to make a response. I mean, I'm assuming I'm going to predict Queen F5, Queen D4, but the top move actually makes a lot of sense from the computer. So maybe Linda will do that.
Yeah, bishop G7 and then Queen H6.
Yeah, the
It's
bishop
no fun.
bishop back on G7 also really deters Queen D4. Hello, Night Night. Buddy saying they got the Seinfeld joke. Ben used that one yesterday too. But it's good to know. I know, Ben, you're vegan, right?
Mm-hmm.
So Ben's pretty environmentally friendly.
I'm the friendliest.
Not only is he vegan, but he also recycles his jokes.
Exactly. It is a good idea. Eight minutes for Linda, and she has to make 17 moves in 8 minutes. F5.
Yes.
That seems like it hastens the demise.
Allowing en passant. Also allowing Queen D4 still.
Yeah, you're a big fan of en passant.
If I don't say it, people will question if I know it. All right, chat. En passant. To en passant or not to en passant? That is the question. I don't know any French, buddy. Oh, there it is. She did it.
She played en passant. Now she's 3 pawns up.
Oh my goodness. This is the biggest pawn advantage she's had all day.
Yep. And the engine wants to trade queens for black and play Queen F5 at some point. It's funny, white again is threatening G4. The same threat. So, and now black's down 3 pawns. Nemo's going in for the kill. I think my prediction this game was pretty spot on.
We're getting close. The moment of truth is getting ever nearer. So we're on move 24. Linda's less than 10 minutes. Nemo with 25 minutes. Nemo not really needing the bonus 30 minutes once you reach move 40. Questioning if Linda will make it that much farther into the game. 16 moves to go.
I mean, jokes aside, I don't see how black's going to make it to move 40. I mean, 30 seems okay. If she doesn't make it to 30, I wouldn't be surprised.
Yeah, We could see resigns at any point, like Ben said. I do think we're gonna see a couple more moves, but yeah, here queen f5, pretty close to forced. In the previous position, we were looking at potentially bishop g7 being a good move. Now, not really possible because the f pawn is turned into.
I got a text from Papa Botez. He says Nemo went up to him last move and asked for Linda Diaz's jacket so that Nemo could put it on and then take it off. Wow. Harsh, but he didn't allow it.
Wait. Nemo,
She wanted to take off the jacket to show that she's winning, but she doesn't have a jacket.
Nemo asked for Linda's. Well, she asked Papa if she,
Right. If she could get Linda's jacket, put it on, then take it off to show she's winning. The Papa Botez didn't allow it.
So she cannot talk to Linda and distract her.
Right. So that's why she talked to Papa Botez. Me and Papa Botez are similar age, so we text each other. It takes us a long time with one finger, but
I figured Nemo could get a jacket elsewhere. But yeah, Ben with the inside information. How's Alexandra's game?
well, she was losing when I looked about 30 minutes ago. See if anything changed. No, she's more losing. Yeah, she could resign any move. She's really lost.
So Nemo.
Yeah, it's also +8 for Jennifer.
Nemo and Jennifer had their match yesterday, ending in a draw. Now Nemo and Jennifer are still competing to see who can win faster.
Yeah, they're both going to have 1.5, and they'll be tied for first with Dina and Anna.
So no one's going to have a perfect score after 2 games.
No, nobody gets the Fisher Prize, which doesn't exist.
Queen d4 played, threatening a plethora of ideas.
Yeah, every move is a threat.
Such as e4.
Exactly. Yeah, white playing e4, e5 would be good.
Penarson saying Linda will win. She could win something. Rook takes d6. Played. And now only one move wins, Ben.
That's right.
And it was played.
White's got pawns everywhere. It's pandemonium.
So yeah, Nemo is up 3 pawns, and they're all connected pass pawns.
I'd like to point out the D pawn is the C pawn, the E pawn is the F pawn, and the F pawn is the E pawn. Originally. You can't make that up, but it's true.
These pawns are like superheroes that Ben knows the origin story of.
Yeah, it's like E4, E5 is the most logical. Knight F4 is also winning. If it's black's move, white's winning. Everything wins.
You'd have to give black a couple of
Hard to resist E4, E5. That looks pretty good.
Yeah, I liked E4 even before rook takes D6.
Yeah. And I heard Botez just resigned.
So Jennifer won faster.
Yeah, the rook is trapped in the middle. The final move was pretty cool. Instead of taking more pawns, she just trapped the rook in the center of the board. Yeah, the truth hurts. Wow, it says Jennifer played 98.2.
Even better than yesterday.
Yeah.
It's gonna be tough to beat Jennifer.
Now I know why Kramnik and Hans declined their invitations. Man. Jennifer used too good.
You got a sub for Vartanank.
Yay. I met him in Vegas at the National Open.
Maybe I met Vartanank.
Possibly.
Yeah, so once again, Nemo's game goes the longest.
No. I mean, yay.
More content. But yeah, this time, I mean, the game's only been 3 hours. Yesterday we were over 5 hours, but this game is getting close to the end here. So we're nearing the finish line. She just has to put the finishing touches. We're
Finish her.
expecting the E pawn to join its past pawn brethren in the center.
Bartanonk asked you a question, Joe. Are you going to the LA Chess Club tonight?
The answer to that is no.
I thought it'd be fries. That's a good answer, too.
No, I actually helped start the LA Chess Club, but I like to go to the downtown LA Chess Club on Sundays. There's also coffee chess, which happens, I guess, on the weekends. Oh, Vartanang, you were there. Okay. Yeah, I don't go to that anymore. Someone asking if knight g5 is good.
I mean, probably everything's good.
I guess.
Knight g5, seems like I could take the pawn on d6.
So yeah, there's something that is annoying. Like, the queen is attacking our pawn on d6, which comes with check as well. So e4 probably not. I mean, e4 you give the pawn up with check, just so you could play e5, blocking the check with tempo. But I'm sure you don't have to give up your d pawn. I mean,
yeah, every move wins. She'll play one of them.
she'll play a winning move. That's a prediction I can get behind.
Yeah.
There's definitely gonna be a knockout blow. Not in the next move or two, but Nemo's preheating the oven right now. It's in the works. Is the LA Chess Club affiliated with the LA Fitness? Not to my knowledge. Trucker saying this game is, yeah, she has played e4. She says, to heck with the d pawn. I don't want to play queen c5. I don't want to move my knight. So go ahead, take it, because I'm just going to play e5.
Yeah, very good.
But yeah, I wouldn't say that this is torture. I mean, Nemo's, even though she's completely crushing, she's still taking a good amount of time for every move. And these are the kind of positions that you try to enjoy, right? Because it's not every game that you can have this kind of wind in your sails So, yeah, last game maybe was a bit more torturous, right? Having to defend down a pawn for 5 hours.
Yeah, that was less fun. This is more fun because you're winning.
Yeah. So, the light at the end of the tunnel is a big W. It's not just the light that's coming in from behind their.
The snow at the end of the rainbow.
Kreda is asking what my opinion is on Levy's GM progress. I think he could make it. Why not? I saw that question was asked to Hikaru during the lie detector test, and he said that Levy's too old or something. But I don't know. What do you think, Ben? Is Levy too old to make GM?
Well, he is old, but one of the important aspects of making GM is that you're really good at chess, and that's the aspect that he lacks. But the fact that he's older is also not good. Also, he has no GM norms. His rating's low.
Oh, man.
Yeah, he's not really a chess player. He's a chess celebrity. Truth hurts. If you don't want the truth, don't come to the park. Also, nobody got my True Romance reference when I said snow at the end of the rainbow. Terrible.
I'm not even Levy. That hurt me.
Exactly.
Oh, man. What's up, Amadeus? Rhett's asking, could Ben make GM again? Well, he doesn't have to.
Luckily, I don't have to. Otherwise, no.
He already did it.
Yeah. Yeah, I couldn't do it now.
Yeah, Amadeus came in right when it was getting spicy.
So here's the problem Black has. White's next move is going to be Queen H4. And that's annoying. Very annoying. Yeah, so the game's probably going to end exactly on move 30 like I predicted.
Well, I think Linda's going to go Queen E6.
Hey, somebody asked, can't Levy just give Ben $50,000 to lose to him? And the answer is yes. Yes, he can.
I don't know how much that'll help Levy. I don't think we can change the focus. The camera was really messing up earlier, so this is much better than what we had. So, okay, Queen E6 was played, and now Queen H4 is top choice. But I'm wondering, like,
I mean, Queen H4, it's over. Like, that's it.
Yeah, we're trading our knight for the bishop, but I guess the knight's gonna land on G5.
Yeah, I mean, there's a mating attack also.
Oh yeah, and the rook on F8's also hanging.
It doesn't matter. White can play knight E7 and then play Queen H4. It's all good. It's Thaddeus. Go with Thaddeus.
All right, so I think Linda's gonna go over move 30, but not that much. I don't think she'll resign in 2 moves. Or Ben. So this is move 29. So there's one move left to be made for Linda, and then it'll make move 30. So I think it's very possible you're gonna see queen takes D5, queen takes H6, and then like rook G8, and that's move 31.
I had to vote in this very important poll on my stream.
So we see the minor pieces traded. The poll, for anyone that's wondering, is in Ben's stream, so you'll have to go look at his chat.
No, she made the 31st move.
Oh.
And White's plus 11.
I didn't. She didn't do Rook G8. I messed up this last one. Cabby Chest, thanks for the 200 bits. Ben was very close. Closer than me. I didn't really guess. Northern Web says, just say it out loud, Joe. I'm trying to get people to go to Ben's channel.
You don't say it out loud, we'll get banned.
Like Rush.
Exactly.
Yeah, my channel doesn't get a pull. I'm sorry. Nemo now under 20 minutes, but surely she'll play knight g5.
She will play knight g5, but don't call me Shirley. I mean, every move wins. It's not clear what she'll play. Every move is completely winning. You can move your king first and then play like king h1 and then play knight g5. You can play rook e1 and then play knight g5. It doesn't matter.
That poor bishop on c8, it developed once upon a time, long time ago, but it still isn't developed, unfortunately. That bishop wishes it was on c6. And then knight g5 would be a big blunder.
Mm-hmm. My only hope is Linda resigns before Nemo moves.
That's all Vin wants.
Shocking the audience.
Hey BP. No, Linda heard your move prediction, and
No.
now she might not win the game, but she can still beat Ben's prediction. So yeah, plus 11 after knight g5.
Some guy in Nemo's chat said, I'm glad you got Mr. Ben Bach to commentate. I love his jokes about F3 and whatnot. I'm good old Benjamin Bach.
Yeah, these Grandmaster Bens. So good. Very witty. All right, instead we see rook to e1.
Yeah, very professional move.
It defends the e-pawn, which was only defended by the knight. So knight g5, unfortunately, wasn't played by Shirley. She's not in a rush to play knight g5. So we have reached move 31.
Yeah, if she was in a rush, I would say giddy up.
Nemo hasn't even finished her tea.
Terrible.
But yeah, is this the point where Nemo's thinking about what she wants to have for dinner?
Eat like a grandmaster. No, she's thinking about knight g5.
So Linda is trying to play bishop b7.
Trying is the first step to failure.
She's gone knight g5. That weakens the g2 square, Ben.
No.
So after bishop to b7, if Nemo takes on f7, then black still can't take on g2 because they're in check.
Yeah.
But that doesn't stop Linda. Oh, looks like Nemo had knight takes pre-moved. Dang. So if this was online, Linda could try knight takes g or queen takes g2, but it wouldn't let her. So she has to take back with the queen.
Man, rook d1's annoying.
Rook d1.
That's pretty annoying. That you can pre-move rook d8. Looks like she's gonna play e6, e7. It looked like she was trying to play e6.
Yeah.
And after queen takes f6, e7. And there's
you do get
you can check on d6. I don't know. Black gets like 3 or 4 checks.
Slightly annoying.
She'll probably not do it because of the checks.
So Nemo's back over 90% accuracy.
Yeah, rook d1. Yeah.
Rook d1. Good. Yeah, and the point Ben said, you could pre-move rook d8. The idea being, let's say the queen goes somewhere to guard that square. The problem is the queen cannot guard both the d8 check from the rook and the g7 checkmate threat from the queen. So
it's hard not to resign here. It's hard.
Yeah, I would say
it's hard to make a move.
This is probably a point. I mean, maybe bishop d5, but rook takes d5 simple. We have handshake, and there you have it, folks. So Ben 4 moves off from a perfect prediction, but
terrible.
A great.
I didn't think she would play on so long.
So yeah, GG's in the chat for Nemo. Maybe a couple claps. A sub from Darth Revan, thank you. Appreciate that. And yeah, we're gonna try a player interview. So I'm not sure which camera she'll use. Hopefully one that's working. Actually, maybe let's try to listen into what they're saying. Might have been too late for that. But yeah, anyways, Ben, this is round 2. Strong performance. Nemo tied for first. Winning before the extra time against Linda Diaz, who's still looking for her first win.
Do you need the paper?
Yeah, thank you.
Nemo, who does she play tomorrow?
Nobody knows, although I could look and tell you in a second. She's white against Alex Botez.
Ooh. That'll be exciting. So yes, tomorrow she's playing against the event organizer. Now, Ben unfortunately won't be here. But Ben, it's been an honor.
Thank you. It's a greater honor for me, Don Francisco.
All right, we're gonna join, or maybe I can try to add Nemo to. I just lost Ben on accident. Hi Ben.
Hello.
Oh, hello.
I'm trying to add Nemo.
People are saying the camera is not quite focused, so I'm just going to mess with it a little bit. 1 second. Wait, can you guys hear me? Oh,
hello.
Hello. Hello.
Also, Ben, you might need to turn your camera back on.
Oh, okay.
All right, so we have you back. I cannot hear you, Nemo.
Go Nemo.
Here. Chat can hear Nemo if I do this.
Hello?
Chat can hear Nemo if I do this.
Okay, but this should work. Are you sure you don't have me just on like the wrong input, Joe? I think you just have me on the wrong input because also can you take off the board? Okay, you guys can hear me? But you guys are not able to hear me in this Discord call? Oh, I'm muted on Discord? So many tech issues. One sec. Hello? Hello? Testing? Alright, 1 second.
Camera's off.
I'm using this camera.
Oh, you're still streaming now?
Yeah, we're still streaming. Is it okay?
Yeah. No.
All right, hello.
Hey, I can hear you.
Hi.
Okay, hello. Sorry, I don't know why nothing is quite working, but
Oh, you're good.
okay. Are you guys all able to hear and see me? Is the
Yes.
voice? Okay, awesome, cool.
Well, actually, I see you on this. Yeah, okay, that's fine. I'll let
Okay.
you answer.
Yeah.
All right. Well, congratulations on a very smooth victory. Your
Thank
first
you.
win of the tournament, of hopefully many. Maybe chat can ask some questions as well, but I wanted to ask Nemo if you were maybe a little worried after seeing yesterday Linda was way down on the clock early on, but then in this game you actually were the one down on the clock and Linda was actually playing pretty fast.
Yeah, I think that's a really good question. I wasn't really sure what to think about the opening because I honestly didn't really do prep. If anything, I was just going over Sicilian lines because somebody said that she apparently had the nickname of the tank because she used to play the Sicilian a lot, on her Wikipedia. So that's all the information I had on her. And then she came and basically played C6 first move. And I was like, oh, okay, fair enough, interesting. But yeah, I was not that worried about the opening though. I don't think, well, unless it's Levy, I don't think the Caro is very threatening.
Got it. Well, did you have any questions, Ben, for Nemo?
Yeah, at what point of the game did you feel like you were in control and had a big advantage? And did you consider playing C4, the move before you played it instead of castling?
Oh, sorry, I was just seeing that chat says that it's muted, but
No,
think
it's
it
just
should
it's on a delay.
okay, got it. Sorry, Ben. Do you mind repeating that? My brain's a
Sure.
little.
Sure, that's no problem. At what point did you feel like you were in control of the game and had a big advantage? And did you consider playing C4 a move before you did when you castled?
Oh, yeah, I definitely did. But I was trying to keep it simple because I obviously have not played classical chess in a really long time. So I was really afraid that if C4, there was going to be a bunch of queen to H5 ideas in some lines, and I didn't want to risk any of that. But I definitely thought about C4. And now looking back on it, I think C4 might have been a lot more forceful. But I'm really curious. What do you think? Was C4 better? Was that
Yeah, the engine was begging for C4.
Okay.
And then when you played C4, that was clearly the best move. And it seemed like the engine thought you were better, and then your opponent made a series of moves that were not very good. And surprisingly, maybe not to you, the first really bad move she played was queen takes d7. She should take with the bishop on d7. After that, the engine thought you were winning.
Yeah, I definitely saw that. I calculated bishop d7 and I thought she would play bishop d7 and I thought I was going to have a very, very uphill battle to play in that endgame. But obviously, I got very lucky. She didn't think that long for queen to d7.
Right.
And I was very surprised. Like, I calculated the entire line, was like analyzing, you know, all sorts of variations after bishop takes d7. But yeah, like I was not very happy about my position after castling c4, and I definitely fell one move behind. So I think, once again, to your point, Ben, I felt like I should take the initiative, but also at the same time, I wanted to keep it simple. And I think those two are sometimes conflicting ideas, because as a human, I'm not playing, like, I 100% saw c4, like, knew that I should probably play that, but was still like, nah, like, there has to be something wrong with this move. So
Yeah, keeping it simple, I think, also makes a lot of sense, because if you maybe make things a little complicated, you bring unnecessary risk. And that brings me to my next question. There was a moment where you had your queen and rook lined up on the d file, and she plays rook a d8. You had a chance to maybe take both her rooks with your queen. Was that something that you looked into at all? I think you played queen e4 fairly quickly there.
yes, I mean, the whole time that, like, before, like, I calculated the whole line with queen to g4, h3. Didn't actually see queen to a5, or completely forgot about, sorry, queen to h5, completely forgot about queen to h5. But after queen to h5, I think rook to d1 was just the most logical move. Whatever time I spent on rook d1, I just decided that I didn't care if she played rook to d8 or not. And was kind of like, if she plays it, I'm probably going to play queen e4. I entertained some lines just because she was spending so much time on that move. She spent like 15 to 20 minutes on that move. And the whole time I was just there like, I'm not going to take the rook. Like, she's running so low on time. Keep it simple. I have a much better position. I'm up 2 pawns. My knights can pressure her so much. Her queen is on h5. And I was just like, there's absolutely no point in me doing queen takes d8. Now, if this was a blitz game or a bullet game, 100%, I would have played queen takes d8 and been like, this looks like so much fun. But I saw the move, knew I was probably winning, could not find like forced checkmate, could not find forced win off the bishop on e6. So I was like, whatever, I'm just going to play queen e4, pressure her in time trouble, you know, threaten. She's probably going to be worried that I'm taking on b7, even though I don't really want to take on b7 because of rook to b8. So kind of just playing that, like, psychologically, like knowing that she's going to feel the pressure, and that's a much easier way to win.
Yeah, a very professional approach to keep it simple. And then, yeah, it just seemed like an easy game at the last few moves. It was everything was winning.
Yeah, I think, like, for sure, what I was trying to just do, what I am trying to do in this tournament is, like, I don't want to keep it too simple, obviously, but I feel rusty. I don't feel focused. I am constantly, you know, sprinting out of the room to cough. So I, like, just don't want to really risk too much. Like, I just don't think that there is a lot of merit to risking when I can have a clear game plan.
So Nemo, tomorrow you're going to play against the organizer of the event, Alexandra Botez herself. You will have white pieces again. You played e4 today, and against Akaro, you did very well. Alexandra is very much known for playing a French defense. I'm sure there's a lot of prep that you could do on that. Do you know if you're going to leak what opening you're going to go for, or is it going to be a mystery?
It's going to be a mystery.
Okay.
But also, Alex and I were joking that we weren't supposed to prepare against each other. I don't know if that's changed. I actually don't know how her game against Jen went, so I don't know where she is. But I will, after this, I will go find her and discuss.
You're going to prep with her.
Yeah, maybe we can prep together.
Yeah, Jennifer won against Alex.
Oh, okay, got it. Well, in that case, maybe Alex will be more incentivized to prepare.
Mm-hmm.
Oh.
And that leaves you and Jennifer tied with 1.5 points. It's a 4-way tie, I guess, for first. No one's been perfect 2 for 2 so far. So already round 2, no one has a perfect score. You're tied for first, and we're all hoping that you'll hold on to that lead, and I think you're in good shape to win. So yeah, good luck. Does anyone else have any questions?
Thank you both so much.
Yeah, and this is Ben's last time commentating for this event, I believe. So shout out to Ben. Ben, it's been an honor commentating with you. Really enjoyed the time.
Yeah, thank you
Yeah,
so
you
much.
too was great, and thanks for the great games.
Yeah, it's been awesome having you both. Thank you so much. Ben, are you going to continue your stream? Sorry.
No.
Okay. We'll find somebody else to rate then. But yeah, I hope you guys super enjoyed. I think this was like a really fun game to play, honestly. Like, I haven't played a fun. Well, I don't know if fun is necessarily the right word, but like, it felt like everything was going the way I wanted it to.
Yeah.
And that doesn't happen very often for me when it comes to chess. So,
That's good.
yeah.
Well, Nemo, did you want to maybe talk to the chat on your own a little bit, or did you want to end it
Oh,
here?
yeah. I'll do
Okay.
that. Thank you. I'll let the commentators go. Can we please give a huge thank you to both? Oh, I'm on delay, so honestly, don't worry about it. Are you streaming,
No,
Joe, or are
I
you?
can turn the delay off.
Oh, there's a delay. Oh, you can turn it off?
Well, it's so that Ben and I can hear you. That's why there's a delay.
Oh, got it. Okay,
Yeah.
sweet. Sounds great. Thank
Yeah.
you.
All right.
All right.
Take care,
Thank
Ben.
you, Ben. Thank you, Joe. You guys are awesome. Please, everybody, give a huge round of applause to Ben and Joe. They're amazing. Please follow their channels. But yeah, thank you both. And thanks so much,
Nemo.
Ben.
Great games. Good luck in the tournament. Hope you win the rest of your games.
Thank you.
Thanks,
Appreciate
everyone.
it.
All right. Take care.
Yeah.
Thank you. Appreciate it. Thank you. All right, chat. I am going to. Oh, wait. Can you guys hear me? Oh, I think you guys are able to hear me if Joe just turns on the audio for the cam. But yeah, I did win. Okay, good. Thank you so much, Joe. Seriously, Joe has been doing an amazing job. Honestly, everybody here has been doing such an amazing job with production and everything. It's pretty crazy. Like, Vila has been working super hard. Everybody's been working super hard. We have people taking videos. There's people doing interviews. It's great. I don't know why my camera fucked up today, so Vila actually set up one of the Boches cams to use on my channel. So huge shout out to Vila for that. Thank you very, very much. Obviously, when I'm in the middle of the game, I can't really do all that stuff myself, but yeah, I'm not wearing shoes because I gotta sprint to the bathroom to cough and get back without losing too much time. So I'm first of all bothering everybody with my cough, and then secondly, I'm giving everybody odds with my cough. So that's why the no shoes. Because otherwise, like, I'm way too loud. I'm like way too loud when I run. But yeah, I have a cough because of being sick from Vegas. So I have, my asthma is really, really bad at the current moment. And I think there's something about the Californian dry air that's making it worse, or like wherever we are. I know Jen also has like sinus issues, so I don't really know what's happening, why it's not getting better despite having the 2 inhalers. But one of the lovely ladies here has actually got me cough drops. So starting tomorrow, I should be downing cough drops. So yeah, that'll be really good. But I don't think my cough is not because of like bacteria. If anybody wants me to wear a mask, I'll obviously happily do so, but I'm trying my best to just run and cough in the bathroom. But yeah, it's like, I'm just like I'm not even that stressed, but I am stressed, obviously. Sitting for a long time does not help me at all. So once I go around and start walking, it gets a lot better. So I'm probably gonna go out, get some exercise and all that stuff. I'm drinking a lot of fluids. Ricola, please sponsor me. But yeah, anyways, like the classical chess is definitely making it a lot worse. Like having to sit in one place, not being able to just go around and yeah, classical is definitely not better, not making it better. So I am definitely not comfortable during the games. I'm just doing my best here. I obviously wish I was not sick, but sadly there's not much I can do about it right now. Yeah, I just like can't really control it. It's just asthma. Like it's just asthma. Like it's gonna go away. Doctor said it will improve in like 3-4 days. I think I'm on day 3 of taking inhaler, and it's not really getting better. But you can see even when I'm like talking, like I'm not coughing as much. Like once I get talking, it like kind of like it's really just a sitting still, having to focus. The moment I like start thinking about breathing or something, I just feel the itch in my throat. Like it's just that. But anyways, so thank you, thanks chat. I really appreciate it. You guys are awesome. Yeah, I'm allergic to classical chess. Honestly, that's the most logical response. Maybe I'm just allergic. I actually think I am though. Like jokes aside, the classical chess is 100% making my cough worse. So sort of by that, I am allergic to classical chess. Like only because I'm forced to sit here for however long the game lasts. So anyways, but yeah, it's been a really fun hanging out with the girls. It's been really, really good. It's been, well, I wouldn't say I enjoy playing the chess, but I do enjoy all the other parts of it, and I am enjoying the beautiful LA weather. So yeah, I think that makes up for it. But, oh yeah, yesterday's game was really awesome too. I wouldn't say anybody ever feels intimidating, because if I was to feel intimidated, that would imply that I have to care, which, I mean, I do because I'm competitive, but like, who are we kidding? Jen is a very, very good player, so no, I don't really feel intimidated. I wouldn't describe it as intimidation. It's just more like, all right, Jen, this will be interesting. No, I don't particularly enjoy playing classical. I'm sorry, chat. I know everybody wants me to enjoy playing classical, but I just don't. Like, I'm just here trying to get through the week and not die and not end up in an American hospital. But we do have our recap yesterday from yesterday's game out. It is on YouTube, so if you guys want to check it out, it is available now, and actually it's really cool how fast we were able to get it out. Usually things like this take 6 months, but Alex was like, this should absolutely not take 6 months, it should take a day, so we got it out. But yeah, I mean, I don't need to act like anything. I'm just enjoying the mansion. I'm enjoying spending time with the girls. I'm enjoying all the other content. Like, classical chess, I mean, yesterday was unfortunately a big part of my day because it was like 6 hours, but classical chess is not my life. It will never be my life, and that's okay. And I can handle that for a week and a half. It's not like I have to do this every day for a year. It's not like I set myself not quitting chess until I make it to the candidates. It's just 1.5 weeks, so it's fine. But it's really nice. So, anyways, yeah. Game 2 is done. There's 5 more to go. I would love to spend more time with the girls, so I'm gonna probably do that later. It'll be fun. But yeah, I hope you guys enjoyed. It's been really interesting, like playing. I would say it's been very interesting, like seeing everybody take it so seriously, watching everybody do streams and stuff. I'm gonna let Joe go pretty soon, but it's nice chatting with you guys too, so I hope you guys have a great rest of your night. Oh yeah, there was the classical 960 announcement, which is really cool. I super respect everybody that's hardcore running in classical. Like, I see all the girl weeks working so hard, doing their recaps, filming their shorts outside when I'm playing my games, and it's like, I respect the hustle, I really do. But yeah, anyways, I'm making slow chess fun for you guys to watch. Okay, I'm glad to hear that. Tomorrow should be tomorrow should be Joe and Canty. GM Canty. Also, who is not a GM, but. Anyways, Alex, can I borrow you for a quick second?
Yeah.
Okay. So everybody knows I'm playing against Alex tomorrow. How do you
Okay.
feel?
Exhausted, sad, defeated.
Oh no. Oh no.
Yeah, should I keep going?
No, it's okay. I'll let you go. I'm gonna end my stream. All right, guys. This has been a good interview.
I'm an honest woman, you know.
I respect that.
Alex, are you ready to?
Yeah.
We've been doing the 2 people at a time.
Okay. Yeah. All right, Joey.
We're gonna do it with, Jen. Yeah, she's more in.
Okay. Sag. But yeah, we have some more content to film and stuff before it gets too late. But I hope you guys enjoyed watching. Yeah, Joe, are you streaming? Because if you're gonna keep streaming, I'll send the raid over to you, but obviously no pressure. No pressure. Tomorrow is our 12-year grudge match. Oh my gosh, Alex's response is so honest. No, you're also not. Alright, we'll find something to do. I'm still dying. I don't want to die anymore. Oh, why am I dying? I'm actually feeling so dead. Okay. Sorry. I'll give the raid. I don't even know who to give the raid over to. Nobody's streaming chess anymore. That was the last game. That was the last game for today. I am dying. Thank you so much, Gabby, for the 200 bits. I appreciate it. Oh, Anita's streaming. I can't even, like, pronounce things properly. There's a doggo around, I think. That's really cute. Wait. Somebody live. I don't see Anita streaming. Alright, well, you know what? Make sure you guys go and check out my YouTube video, by the way. You guys are going to see me 3 p.m. Pacific tomorrow, 3 p.m. Pacific. Okay, let's give it over to Emily Wang. I haven't rated her in a while, but she's a tough streamer. I miss playing tough. And Lee. Oh, that reminds me. If you guys haven't already, make sure you're checking out G2A for games to play that are not classical chess. You should absolutely be checking out G2A. Get it at a discount. Not only does G2A have games, it also has software keys. So if you ever need to do some editing or some Microsoft Wording or anything like that. And also, on top of that, they have like gold for games and stuff and in-game currency. But yeah, you guys should absolutely check out G2A. Thank you all so much for coming. You guys are awesome. Hell yeah, for being back. G2A, save your marriage. Yeah, thank you so much, G2A, for sponsoring us. Thank you so much to the Botas for hosting this tournament. Thank you so much for Chess.com. Thank you so much, Chess.com, for presenting this. But I'll see you guys tomorrow at 3 p.m. I mean, as you guys will see Joe and Canty, I think. Hopefully he confirmed. So, yeah. All right. See you guys. Thank you all so much. Take care, everyone. You guys are awesome. Appreciate it.